stream is dead air problem going out here. What in the world is that? And then also on the Warchant feed, the YouTube feed, which may be the only people we're talking to currently.
I do not miss running a radio station, Putty. That I'll try and figure it out.
But, says we're up and running here. I'm looking at
internet's fine. Yeah.
I'm looking at my thing here, and it says we're good.
Those were not the days.
Yeah, it's not easy, and when the grim ones start, they tend to get on a roll. But if you are, if you're watching, we'll talk to you. That's who we're talking to. It's the YouTube crowd.
Well, the air feed's working fine. It's just spectator likes to listen to the stream player while watching the video. Spectator's a little intense that way.
So the radio, if I'm in the car, I hear, yeah. Okay, all right, we're fine. Hey, we didn't, and I saw Colby do this right at the outset here. I don't normally have the chat up right away, but I did today. I don't know. I had a suspicion there might be a problem with the feed or something. And I want to make sure we were good to start. So, he brings up the Here Comes Virginia. You and I this week have yet to do a Here Comes Virginia. We can.
Did we do that when we played them?
Well,
or was it more like when we were rooting for them to be the plucky ACC team that beats other people, like Notre Dame when they would play Notre Dame?
Yeah, we kind of always cheered them on because we love the blinding beauty of Charlottesville, Virginia. And then later on, I did it because my nephew was going to law school at UVA, and he finished up at law school at UVA and went out into the world and got himself a job. But anyhow, so I have actual ties, oddly, to Virginia. And my old buddy Louis Morales graduated from Virginia. So I've always kind of had a liking for Virginia, save for 95. Save for 1995.
I forget why I like them.
There's nothing to dislike about Virginia in terms of listen, they've got a few wins over us that are annoying.
No, their fans are just really snooty.
Well, the school is snooty. It's a snooty school.
Yeah, it's
but it is a very, very good school, and that happens when you're good at something.
Yeah, Snob Hill, though. But I guess there was something about that team 10 years ago or 11 years ago that was just easy to root for.
Yeah, I don't know.
Must have been.
I don't know. But we still root for them, except for not this Friday when we hope that this is an ass beating.
Yeah.
That this is an ass beat.
So they don't get the support of the song this week, do they? Or do they for old time's sake? I don't know what your stance would be on that.
I would tell you that starting next week, and we could also go with a "There Goes Virginia" if we beat their ass.
Down goes once upon a time.
Down goes Virginia. Yep. There goes Virginia. Yeah, we could certainly do that.
It used to be marching down the field as well. That was the second.
Well, we
part.
had a whole down the field. Yeah, we had a whole big to do with it. Let's get back to what's at stake, where we're at. It's one day closer because it is not a Saturday game, as you guys know. It is a Friday game, and I'm eager to see it. I've said that since Monday. I feel like we are tired of the appetizers. We are ready to eat. And I've wanted the meal for some time. I wanted to see a follow-up contest in which you had athletes capable of doing something about it on the other side. And if you don't play well, you'll pay a price for not playing well. I've wanted that test. We need that test. We've gotten not bored because we're literally setting records around these parts right now, but we all know what it is, and we're ready to move on to something that has some merit, that has some weightiness to it. And I'm not saying going on the road and beating Virginia means that you have solidified yourself as a national championship contender, but it does allow the conversation to move forward about just how good you are and whether or not you are indeed a playoff team. And these last two wins don't do that necessarily.
No, what they do is they measure your commitment to do the little things. But even if you make a mistake in a game like East Texas A&M and Kent State, there was an obvious one on the trick play this past Saturday. I'm sure there are more mistakes that were made on film that you don't know about because they weren't good enough to take advantage of it. And here you go. Here's an opponent who most certainly, offensively speaking, is good enough to take advantage of missteps, of not minding your P's and Q's, sticking to your assignment, doing your job instead of freelancing. All of those things can be exposed pretty quickly if you do that against an offense like Virginia that has a lot of legitimate playmakers. I don't think trench-wise, I don't think if you go 80 plays for 80 plays, they can hang with Florida State. But in a series, in a quarter, in a half, if you freelance and you decide to go play for the big play and instead of just doing what Tony White is asking you to do within the scheme, you can get roasted, and they can do that fast. So that's what I think we're trying to learn this week.
Couple playmakers that I like a lot on Virginia's team, and I do like their quarterback. You know, we talked some about Chandler Morris yesterday in the bonus hour, and we did on Monday as well, and I did on headlines. But he's a good player, and he's a guy that, you know, you're a coach's son. You got a good brain for the game. Grew up in it. He's athletic enough to get out of bad plays or pressure and make something happen. So, you know, if you're trying to dial up an upset on a Friday night up in Charlottesville, it's something like that. It's a kid who's a veteran, who's 24 years old, making plays when they have to have it and staying out on the field on 3rd and 7 and converting. It's stuff like that can give you fits. I hope we certainly don't see that. I am curious. I will say this, and I won't know the answer till we play, but I am curious to see how Virginia responds to a team this physical. Florida State has been very, very physical so far, and you've seen it even in the lesser games, right? They've been out there trying to take care of business. This has been one of my favorite. I think everybody agrees on this, that one of the aspects of this team that we like and that we love to watch play out is the readiness to play, the intensity of the play, and the focus. You know, you're never going to play a mistake-free game. So I don't care about that. It's going to happen. You're going to make a mistake. And the other guys are on scholarship too. So it's going to happen. But how you play the game, you're very much in control of. And do you play violently on defense? Do you play violently, period? Do you play that way? Are you intense? Are you focused? Is it play to play, quarter to quarter, game to game? And the answer has been a resounding yes. So I am curious to see what Virginia's offensive line, which is not a terrible unit at all, how do they respond to Florida State's intensity and physicality? How do they respond to that? And the same goes for Virginia's defense, which didn't play well against NC State. And I think Florida State's offense is better than NC State's offense. So I do think there's some points to be had here on Friday night. I think the real intrigue in the game is Florida State's defense against Virginia's offense. Virginia's offense has some playmakers. Virginia's offense, I think, will be legitimately testy throughout the course of the year. They'll give some people problems because they have enough playmakers. And I like their system. It's fine. It's a very we've seen this system play out across the country.
Norvell runs the hell out of that system.
Yeah, it's very much, yeah. And now, how do they respond? They love to run the hell out of mesh. Everybody does. It's a very popular concept these days.
Don't forget about that rail, the running back out of the backfield.
That is correct. But they love that mesh, and you know, that works better typically against man than it does zone, and we run a hell of a lot of zone. So let's see how they respond to that. I think there's some opportunities, as Mike would like to say, about what's at stake here on defense here. You got a chance to make a play on the ball this week.
Yeah, this is a very similar scheme to what Mike Norvell ran offensively. There's a little bit of Gus in there too, and more on that in a moment. But you're talking about the pistol, the counting at the line of scrimmage. But, you know, if you're looking inside, outside, how is it 2 for 2 on the outside, receivers versus members of the secondary? Then it's an auto throw, even though there's an RPO over the middle. They've got triple option RPO elements to it, where you've got a read option, RPO pass, bubble outlet with the quarterback who can run. Jordan Travis style stuff that we saw out of Mike Norvell. Again, formationally, a lot of pistol, a lot of shotgun, a lot of jet motions. These are all things that Mike Norvell ran the hell out of. The difference where I'd say you throw in a little bit of extra Gus, because as Dominic Robinson once said, Norvell and Gus are like kind of cousins in terms of their offensive philosophy. It's the tricks. They run a lot of trick plays, and no doubt they've saved a few of those and set up a few of those for this specific game. You might say on Florida State's schedule, they're saving and setting things up for that Miami test next week. They'll have some this Friday night, but for Virginia, this is their night to air it all out. So this is why doing your job is very, very important. Virginia isn't predictable and inevitable about what they are in offense. They will trick you. They will look at the backside of the play. They'll have options and reverses and double reverses. Hell, they had a play with the quarterback who was involved. It was direct snap to the running back. Quarterback's lined up next to him. Then you've got to reverse. The quarterback's got the ball back in his hands for a shot down the field. They got weird stuff coming on Friday.
Well, it's, Florida State's going to have to get very used to the fact that they're going to, littered throughout this conference schedule this year, they're going to be somebody's Super Bowl, and they're going to be a kitchen sink game. I say that a lot about these lesser teams. When you're playing a Wake Forest, or you're playing, in this case, in Virginia, I don't want to put them in the same category. I think that Wake team's terrible. But if you're playing any of these teams that really don't have their eyes on the college football playoff, but they want to make a bowl, they want to have a winning season, and they want a moment. They want a feather in their cap. They want something to hang their hat on. They want a signature moment of the season. It's going to be either Florida State or Miami. Most years, a lot of years, that includes Clemson, although the lessening of the brand is ongoing. So we'll see. But, yeah, you're going to get everybody's best shot, including everybody's trick.
And Justin puts it in the chat. He says, so if Norvell ran it a lot, does that mean we know what it takes to stop it? Yeah, I really think the best training you can get for Virginia on Friday night is when you go good on good this week. It's when Gus is trying to run his stuff against Tony's stuff. That doesn't always beget the results you're looking for. That isn't always a perfect fit. If we're going to face somewhere down the line a pro-style Jimbo Fisher offense, when we go good on good, that's not going to help the defense all that much. This week, the stuff that we run should absolutely help our defense, because I'm positive the tricks they saw in preseason camp and what they've seen in good on good since preseason camp, those same concepts are going to be tested on Friday night. So the defense should be ready for it. Yes. Tony
wrote a question in, and I want to get it knocked out in the opening segment because I tend to forget to check the chat as the show goes on, and people are being kind enough to contribute. They deserve to have their question read. Do we think the tight ends will be more involved going forward? I know Pittman has been out, but the other two are highly talented. Also seems like a big mismatch. Thanks, Tony. I do think so. This is interesting because when you look statistically at what Florida State's done, they've played so many guys and distributed the wealth to so many players across games. It's not been the same guy, although I will say Mekhi Danzy has had a big play in all these games. It's the way that the modus operandi has been to really divvy this up and I think lighten the load on any number of players that they're going to rely on a bit more moving forward, maybe even a lot more moving forward. I think they'll pare down the number of players that play in these games as the season goes on, when you're facing good competition or competition that's certainly capable, right? And I think that you'll go back to relying on your core guys that you name the starters coming out of camp, so long as they're healthy and productive. And that would mean to me you would see more use of the tight ends, in particular Pittman, who you are correct to point out has missed the last two games. And they really did handle that situation very well. You did everything in your power to prepare him for the Alabama game while he was nursing a very serious injury. And you knew that was a statement game and a game that was likely going to be very physical. And Pittman is, to me, at its core, that guy for this offense that sets the tone of how physical they're going to be in the run game, and then also what he does in the passing game. And they do a lot of things with him. He's a guy that I'm so happy Gus convinced to come over, because he is the essence of what they want to be on offense. And he is a football playing Jesse. I love to watch him play. I mean, we all saw the clip against Alabama where he floors the linebacker, but he does that a lot, guys. Watch him play. He's a son of a bitch.
He'll be fun to watch on Friday night against their linebackers and safeties. They cheat at times, especially at safety. There's one kid they have that likes to guess, and you might be in a matchup where it's Randy Pittman head of steam against their safety head of steam, and here you go. And let's see who wins that battle. I think it's going to be Randy. The problem, I think tight end next week. I think the Miami game is a tight end game. They could produce this week against Virginia, but Virginia cannot play us man-to-man. They can't. They will get roasted.
No. I would love to see that.
They're going to play over the top, which means I think you've got a lot of pitch and catch the receivers this weekend. I think you can run the ball too. I mean, Lord knows that NC State caved in that Virginia defensive front to the tune of over 6 yards a carry throughout the course of the game. And that wasn't because they had one long run and up the average. They dominated the point of attack play after play. I think we can probably do that as well. But if you just look at the way that Virginia covers and how slow they are in the secondary, this to me screams a lot of timing routes, a lot of timing, quick throws. Oh, God, they're going to play off. All right, so we were thinking about maybe going and taking a shot downfield, but Deuce can break it off at 8 yards, and here you go, pitch and catch, and doing that over and over and over again. I feel like a lot of these guys in the receiving core have a chance to double their target and receptions totals this year. If you look at the stats so far, Deuce Robinson leads the team with 8 catches.
I know, yeah.
We're at 25% through the season. That's 8 catches. Your next leading catcher is Danzy at 4, Lucas at 3, Chroma at 3. I think you're going to see some totals go up for those receivers and pass targets this week.
But I will also point out, and it's as we said going into the season, this is a run first, run second offense. I mean, they want to run the damn ball. And that brings me to my next point about the game on Friday, which I think you're going to start seeing, not just from Virginia, but everybody moving forward. I'll tell you what that is in a second. First, let me tell you about Shannon Young. You guys know he made the move over there to Cross Country Mortgage, and that means good things for you. Better rates, better options, stronger support, faster response. He's in 7 different states now: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. I know Shannon personally. He's a friend of mine. I like to vouch for Shannon because he's good at his job and he's hardworking, and that really is what matters, right? Being good at what you do and caring enough to give a damn and work hard. He does all of those things. He has an unwavering commitment. He'll help you and all of his fellow Seminoles get the best loan options to buy that dream home. Go to loansforknowles.com to learn more. That is loansforknowles.com.
Florida man, you're all crooked again. What did you do to yourself this time?
Well, we were tailgating before the big game, and I had to defend Hank's honor. Some guy saw him wearing his gold chain and said, "Nice Gator fan." Can you believe that? Hank is a Seminole, thank you very much. But it all went downhill during Flip Cup. Hank was losing bad, and the guy starts heckling. He says, "Figures a Gator fan can't flip." The next thing I know, Hank's all over the table and going for the guy's throat. I tried to break it up. I grabbed a keg to end the chaos, and bam, my back went out like a lawn chair in a hurricane. I didn't even make it to the game.
Let me guess, Hank went without you.
Yep, stormed the field after the win.
At Finn Chiropractic, they'll get to the root of your pain and deliver the solutions. Book your appointment online at finchiro.com, and you'll even get an online discount. Visit finchiro.com today and find your path to a pain-free tomorrow.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
For 75 years, Nick's Toggery has been dressing customers for special occasions in their lives. And fall Saturdays are always a special occasion for the Garnet and Gold. And Nick's is always there to suit up the team with pregame style. Because when you look good, you play better. So when it's time for you to look your best, from special occasions to everyday to game day wear, shop Nick's downtown in Market Street or Nick's Big and Tall Market Street. Nick's Toggery and Nick's Big and Tall, the proud men's clothiers for the Garnet and Gold.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. He can put them to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable. He's is what Barry does best.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
It's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, I see you there, Robert, mentioning the 67 passes Danny Cannell threw in 95. Good Lord. First of all, a couple of things come to mind, and this brings me to the point I was going to make before the break that I said that I teased, and I'll get to it. This allows me to get to it easier. What about the what about the 59 passes Drew Weatherford threw in 2005? Here's to keeping it on the ground more in 2025. First of all, the fact that the Drew Weatherford game was in 2005, which is now 20 years ago, is a little startling.
Hey, everybody chill on that now.
A little startling.
Come on now.
I mean, come on now is right. That's a little startling. And then 95 being 30 years ago is very startling. I feel these things deeply. It happens more these days. Something will come up, and you should have seen it the other day. So I told you my oldest loves history, and I think eventually, when he goes off to college, wherever that is, he's going to want to probably major in history. So we're always talking about history, and he knows. I mean, we watch documentaries together and any number of things, and he's read a bunch of books on it. He loves it. So doesn't matter what it is either. European history, American history, world history. He loves it. All of it. So we start talking, and he'll ask a lot of questions. And then he'll ask questions about, what did you learn back when you were in high school? Did they teach this, this, and this? Or he'll tell me something that one of his teachers said in his AP course. And hey, did you guys learn about this? And what did you learn? And we talk about it. But invariably what ends up happening is he'll ask me a question about something that happened in like 1986. And he'll be like, I wonder, do you remember, Dad, when, this happened in 1986? I was in high school, son. I was in high school. Of course I do. Of course I remember what happened in 1986. I was a sophomore in high school. I wasn't even a freshman. I was a sophomore in high school. He's asking as if I hadn't been born. And then I say, oh, sure. Well, what I remember about that. And then I'll just tell him all of the, minutia that's not in the headline of the event. And he'll go, how do you know? Because I was in high school. I was freaking about to be able to drive. I vividly remember this. And he'll go, oh my God, you can remember that far back? Yes, I'm not suffering from dementia. Not yet, anyhow. Come on. And he's like, God, it's so long ago. It's like horse and buggy times. Pisses me off. But you think about it. If you're born in, if you're born in 2010,
he's right.
He's not. You were born.
Barely.
You were born.
Barely.
You were alive. Yeah, barely, but you were alive.
Yeah, you got 2 months and a week out of me in 86.
Anyhow, back to this running the ball stuff. I was about to bring this up. If I were Virginia, and more teams are going to do this, and I really believe they're going to do it a lot, and I would do it. If I were Virginia, it would start this Friday. Because I think more of these teams now, not these last two, were not equipped. Miami certainly is. We'll see if Virginia is. I think they probably are to do what I think that defenses should do. There's no chance I would let Florida State get comfortable running the football and running their offense. I would take Florida State's offense, and I would say to Gus Malzahn, you are not going to run today. We're not. I'll put 10 people on the line of scrimmage. You are going to throw. Now, you could get burned doing that, and it could be a field day for the receivers, and everybody could go nuts. And that's great. I agree, Tom, but I would make you do it because you don't want to do it. It's not the basis for your offense.
Yes, but Tommy has shown a propensity to want to throw the deep ball even in limited pass attempts for the season.
Correct.
He could go for 450 if they decide to take that approach.
Well, to me, it beats the hell out of have somebody bludgeon you to death on the ground and hold the ball from my offense. Virginia's only chance is to get into a shootout. They're not going to stop Florida State a ton. Yeah. I do not, if I'm Virginia, want Florida State to run the ball down my throat, comfortable in their system, where everything's available to them, and I get the ball far fewer possessions to my offense, which is the strength of my team, my quarterback and my receiver, and my OC. That's I'm not doing that. You might light me up, and I'll adjust accordingly as the game goes on. Of course, I mean we get the evidence and we adjust, but I'm not going to let you just line up and run the ball the way you want to do it.
That defense is slow. That would be the problem. But they're on islands. If they're on islands, they're dead. Stanford's running by them. Stanford is running over the top. Of the secondary.
But Virginia got the ball back, and they held Stanford to 35 yards rushing. They took something away. They were willing to give up some big plays on defense to take away something, and they totally took it away. Now, stopping Stanford from running the football and stopping us from running the football, two different animals, agreed. I'm just talking about philosophically going in the game. What's my goal if I'm Virginia? And really, I think what everybody's goal is going to be when facing Gus Malzahn's offense is to take them out of that comfort zone. Listen, Tommy's made some big throws already this year and proven a few times, and that's true in the Alabama game too, that he could make a throw when he had to make a throw. But I'm still betting against him long term. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to make him overwhelm me with evidence that he's going to beat me doing something that he's not as proficient at. He is much better as a runner. He always has been than as a passer. He's playing well as a passer now, but he's not. We're not asking him to throw the ball 25 times a game. We're not asking him to throw it 35 times a game. As a defense coordinator, I would ask him to. I'd take away the run as best I could. Easier said than done, but I think we're going to see that philosophy. Now, there are some defenses, Miami in particular, that may be equipped to do it without having to stack the box. Miami might just be like, we don't need to stack the box because we're good enough to just beat you.
Yeah, I think, two very different defenses. You're between a rock and a hard place with Virginia's defense.
Yes, you are.
The question you're asking here is, do you want more possessions or fewer possessions? I think you want fewer in this case. If you're Virginia, I'd rather play over the top, and yes, it'll be pitch and catch down the field. You'll be alarmed if they play zone, how open some of our receivers are underneath.
But why would you do that? That's the easiest throw in the world to make.
Because he will have misses on what is the equivalent of a 3-0 red light count for a pitcher. You're like, good God, are you even coming close to the strike zone? I want him to prove 6 times on Friday night that he can execute, and Florida State can execute 10 to 12 play drives without fumbling or without turning it over, and being patient, and then feeling the pressure of when we're on offense, because I'm looking at it from Virginia's perspective, and we're going to score with consistency. I think that you feel the pinch a little bit more in a lighter possession game, because that is also something Gus does not like at all. Gus wants more, and more. If I refuse to give him the ball and he's got a possession and a half in the first quarter because I'm taking my time on offense and I'm playing umbrella coverage on defense, I think that would be the path I would choose.
I think we would be in an argument in the room because I want my quarterback, who's 24 years old, to be out on the field as often as possible. He's my best player. He gives me the best chance to win the game. I don't trust my defense to ever get a stop. And if we're going to limit possessions and Florida State's efficiency is going to be 90-something%, I'm just not going to win the game. I need more at-bats. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you spring traps in the red zone is what you do. You get them down in the red zone. You hope they kick 3 instead of 7. I mean, it's a 3-not-7 game.
Yeah, well, this is all in theory.
Sure.
I'm with you.
I think if you play track meet, you're going to lose 49-28 or 49-24. I think that's the recipe for that. But if you shrink it and we're not snapping the ball unless there's inside of 5 seconds on the clock, unless we see something, they do the same thing we do, which is often explosive. They will get up and they'll snap it quick.
Yeah, sure.
But if it's a standard 2nd and 4 because I hit a nice pass on first down, if they're snapping it with more than 15 seconds on the play clock, they're nuts, I think. I think you need to shrink this game as much as possible.
I think they'll gauge early. Obviously, success rates will matter. I mean, this is true of any coach anywhere. We could all go. It's the classic Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. We'll see. I mean, you get out there, you might look and see, oh, well, we're going to get exploited here all day. Don't want to do that. Adjust. Or you may see something that you really like in a matchup that you have, and you decide either to up or slow down tempo. Yeah, I'm with you. It's a game of adjustments.
Where I understand your point is that defense is lacking, and you're in trouble no matter what you do. I was aghast. And look, they might have some things that they didn't put on tape because they're waiting for Florida State, but
I don't think so.
I'm aghast at some of the plays I've seen in the NC State, the Stanford game. I watched half of William and Mary. Why? I don't know. But these guys are just open. You're going, wow, what the hell? If I was one of those fans, I'd go, like the energy we felt for Adam Fuller in the beginning of his career when we got guys lining up beyond the line to gain, halfway into the end zone. Things like that where you go, what are they even trying to do? What is the goal? What is the goal here? It was that bad for many stretches over their first month of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to tight window this thing, and I want him to make those throws. And you may have a ton of one-on-ones, but I'm going to test Florida State's receivers and quarterback if I'm on defense against us right now. I'm taking away the run, and I'm saying, make that throw. And maybe he does. And maybe we get beat. You know, maybe you adjust accordingly, but I'm going to make him do it.
Well, I don't mind that until it's 14-0 or 14-3 or 14-7. Like if they do it twice in a row, I'm like, all right, that was nice to try.
Yeah, we tried it. We gave it a go.
He takes a deep shot. He misses him. Oh, and his hands are on his helmet because he missed him, and it was wide open, and now it's 3rd and 7, and they get 6. Like, I could see that. Man, I don't know. They are slow.
Good. It's good to hear. I thought so too, Tom. Some of the Stanford game this morning was what I was watching. I was like, okay, feel pretty good about this matchup.
That poor Stanford offense, boy, oh boy, they're tackling dummies out there. That poor roster. Stanford.
It's not a good roster.
That game on the 19th is going to be, as long as we get off the bus, we're going to be fine.
Weird 10:30 at night game. Let's see if we had to go through the motions and all that.
Cow, though.
But so far, they haven't gone through the motions, and that is the big thing here. We want to continue to see a group that approaches these games with a vigor that makes you proud. Like they care deeply about the opportunity. I know it's cliche, and we hear our head coach talk about opportunities incessantly, but they've seemingly taken that to heart when they get out there on Saturdays. Like, this is it. You know, these are precious few opportunities. There's 12 to be exact in the regular season. And we've got to take each and every one of these opportunities to play the best version of football that we can. And we got to hit, and we send messages. The other part I like about the team so far, too, is even though the vast majority of the guys that are doing the damage for this team right now were not on the field last year to be a part of the shameful 2-10 campaign, they seem pissed about it. They seem a little bothered that happened, that was a thing, that's been talked about. Like, vengeance is theirs for something that didn't happen to them.
One thing I'd like to add is, you know how you mentioned when a quarterback retires and he joins the booth for TV analysis? That's usually when he's at his sharpest.
It's when he's at his best. Same with a coach.
I feel like for us as a fan base, when we see bad football this year, we see it better than most.
Oh, yeah. We jump
When
on
I'm watching Virginia, I'm going, oh no. Yeah. I know what that is.
Yeah. Like, we got so much of it. It was a heaping helping. We got seconds and thirds, and we were like, no, I'm stuffed. I don't need any more bad football.
It's 3rd and 6, and they're giving the guy 15 yards of cushion, and he breaks off at 8, and you're like, he should have broken off a little earlier, but he has all the room in the world because they don't know what they're doing. I feel like we're much more sensitive to bad play. When we watch Florida, we experience that differently than even a Florida fan does. We go, oh, I know what that is when that offense is on the field. We know what that's all about.
Oh, and I think it's got to be even harder to some degree if you're a Florida fan, by the way, than it was for us last year. For us last year, it was comprehensive incompetence. That was unbelievable what we watched. Every facet of our game sucked. Well, we could punt it. But, you know,
we could kick it if we let Fitzy kick.
If we ever let him kick.
He had a big week last weekend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, no, so I'll take that back. Maybe not every facet, but offensive and defensive football was a disaster. And what's harder for Florida fan, I think, is that you know damn well you should have won every one of these games if your offense was merely competent. I mean, you were told, if you're a Florida fan, that you have one of the nation's elite quarterbacks. And you're out here throwing 5 picks against LSU and only losing by 10 because one of them is a pick 6. You're told that Lagway is eventually going to shake it off and become the kid that you thought he was at the end of last year, and then he throws for 65 yards in a game in which you're down 6 in the second half on the road against Miami.
Yeah, double it. Let him throw for 130. You could win.
You could win the game. So you know you're tantalizingly close because one facet of your team is actually really good. Their defense is really good. But all you would be doing right now, if you're a Florida fan, is waiting for that to crater. Because at some point, they're going to say, F you, man. Every week we're out here getting stops 6, 7, 8 possessions in a row, and you can't get a first down. Yeah, done. People break. Eventually they'll break. They might break this next game. We'll see. So far, they've always fought for him, but I don't know how much longer you can keep fighting when one side of the ball has you destitute. You're just out here begging for scraps.
You know, we could be living in a nice neighborhood if it wasn't for that gambling problem of yours.
It's gotta suck.
I know it's a sickness, but you know what else is sick? Sleeping on the streets, thanks to you and that parlay that you were sure you were going to hit.
It's also hot, humid. It's ridiculous. We're going to get beaten. This is no way to live. No way to live is having to fix leaks and roof damage and all the things that we don't like to talk about and deal with. When that happens, you go to my man T-Spark Enterprises. Of course, you can get them in North Florida, get them in South Georgia. Excellence in the craft. Call T-Spark Enterprises today if you've got a roof issue, commercial build-out, residential, all of it. Big-time damage, tree fell on your house, whatever it might be, something small, shingle replacement, whatever it is, wind damage. Call T-Spark, 850-766-1340. That's 850-766-1340.
Your local
If you're
news
just
now.
thinking about buying some shorts, you need to get them from Chubby's. And I'll tell you how and how to save money in just a moment. But they have an NFL line, which is really cool. Chubby's has the officially licensed NFL gear. If you're a fanatical fan, but you don't want to wear a jersey, like you're not a jersey guy. Maybe you're my age, and at my age, it's hard to pull off a jersey. You could be Tom's age, but I don't think you'd be mine wearing jersey. So there's an elite alternative. Tom, pull up what we got here with Chubby's. Look at all these. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Show me the Miami Dolphins one. I've got my Buccaneers Chubby's shirt that they sent me, but I haven't seen what the Dolphins look like or the Jags look like. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I like the far left Hawaiian shirt for those of you just listening on the pod, but look at that. That is what we do right there. So a Dolphins game day shirt, and they need your help at Miami. So, wear your gear. Be proud. Do the right thing. For a limited time, you can use our exclusive code JCS for $10 off at chubbyshorts.com/JCS. Yes, that includes the NFL collection. Let those thighs hang out and let the good times roll. And here, for a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving you listeners $10 with the promo code JCS at chubbyshorts.com/JCS. That's $10 off your order with the promo code JCS, and that includes the NFL collection. Support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Express yourself and level up your game day wardrobes with our friends at Chubby's.
Sharpen your focus and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. And in the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game. And you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
And they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Other side of it, I don't really worry too much about, like we said, I don't worry much about our offense against their defense. I just brought up a suggestion that I thought Virginia might try, or certainly that some teams will at some point have to make that decision. But I do have a little bit of worry going into the game about our defense against their offense. I do, a little bit. I just want further proof that that it wasn't a mirage, that everything is what we think it is in the Alabama game. You can't know with the last two games, but the Alabama game was something to behold. Are they that? Are they that consistently? Because they haven't had to show it, save for the one game against a real opponent.
Yeah, there's some potential vulnerability there. The one thing I'll say is even though they run and they've faced a lot of man coverage so far, has Virginia, they have answers for zone as well. And it looks like the receivers are smart enough and heady enough to sit down if there's an opening, if they sense a break in the zone. Sometimes receivers just continue on the path because they're told to go to a certain spot and they don't have the football IQ of, oh, this is what the defense is trying to do to me, so let me sit down and just allow for the quarterback to come to me because he'll see it just like I'll see it. They're well coached in that regard. So I think there are going to be some first downs and some sequences and where you go, man, are we going to get a stop here on this drive? But then also, I think you're going to win up front. And Virginia has not seen a defensive line anywhere close to this defensive line. So they might be one-dimensional. Now, they could still produce with that one dimension, the quarterback run plus the pass versus the traditional run between the tackles. But they've got good running backs too. So if you're a little off in a gap, like this is a great indicator, this game to me, about the growth of the linebacker segment specifically. Knowing their assignments, communicating with each other, being put in conflict, where to be in coverage versus where they were last year in coverage. How much have the linebackers grown in that regard? I think Virginia's going to do a good job of testing that on Friday night.
You know when you'll get really nervous? Not if Virginia's moving the ball, but rather if Florida State annihilates Virginia. What do we have here is going to be the conversation. Now, you'll get an immediate test as to the degree of what do we have here the following week. Thank goodness. It's weird. It's like, you holding something, you think it's going to be yours, but you're not sure, so you can't spend the money yet per se. Whatever it is, you're like, I think they meant to give this to me as an offering of some sort. I believe this was for services, but let me talk to Steve and make sure this was the check that he wanted to give me, because it seems like an awful lot, very generous, and you're like, but I have a feeling he meant to do this. That's awfully nice. But you're excited. You're excited, and having to sit around and wait to find out something like it's being armed with a secret. You're kind of like, are we? Because that's the way Jimbo was in 2013 when we went to play Clemson. I've talked about that story many times. There weren't many instances in my time with Jimbo, interviewing him every week of the season, every Sunday. There weren't too many moments in his career here where he would say to me before the interview began, hey, we got a little something for their ass this weekend. Wait do you see what happens on Saturday? Like, there weren't many times. He was always careful not to say something like that. I think he feared I'd go on the air and maybe either out him on that or imply or infer that it was said or something like that. I don't know. Coaches are usually very careful, and they choose their words carefully when they're talking to you. But every now and then he would be like, I know everybody thinks it's going to be a good game. It's not. We're going to hammer them. And he said that before we went and played Clemson at Clemson. And that was something to say, because at the time we knew we were good, but he really had a sense that it was going to be our coming out party. That was the whole nation was going to go, oh boy, like Florida State is the one to beat. They're the problem. They're the team now that we're all gunning for. And I'm not saying, this game could unveil that. But I am saying, like, what if you go into Virginia and the final score is 48-7? Like, all of a sudden, it would lend, some credibility even to the blowout wins you just had, because you just say that's who they are. They're just going to try to seek and destroy everybody. This is sort of a revenge tour moment that would be upon us. You're like, oh, they're taking it personally what happened last year. Like Mike Attal has decided that's
If that was the case, I'd point back to the Alabama muff punt, and I'd say that was the moment they learned their lesson about keeping your foot on the neck when there's an opportunity to end a game. And it was a special teams blunder in that moment, but it's a mentality that they would have embraced if they do that on Friday. I think it's within their capability
of doing that.
48-7, maybe not, but for it to be resounding, absolutely within the possibilities.
Yeah, and yes. I'm not saying it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that if you got, a healthy dose of what for in this game as well, and they were just steamrolling UVA, who does have weapons on offense, who are more than capable on offense. Like, I think that offense plays throughout much of the year. I don't know if Virginia's very good. I think they'll lose several games. But I think the offense kind of plays. They're going to have pockets of play this year where they get everybody a little bit of a problem. So if you go in there and you just utterly destroy them, you talk about the muff punt against Alabama. Well, you would go back to say that that's when the mentality was kind of it registered with them. I would go back and say, had they not done it, they might have blown their ass out even worse. That may have ended up being a much worse score. They might have gone down and scored right then and there, and this thing would have widened to 21, 24, 31. You know what I mean?
No, sure. That's what I'm saying, is that because they had that failure, that's when they really committed to the idea. It's just Virginia can make those plays. There's one, if you watched the Stanford game last week, those poor safeties and corners are left on an island, and it's pitch and catch. It's pitch and catch for Virginia. But then there are times over the first 4 games of the year where you're going to see quarterback breaks contain. He fights through what should be a sack or a nothing play, rolls out to his right, improvises, and hits a receiver who's in a scramble drill in stride over the outstretched hand of good coverage. And you're like, wow, that plays against Florida State. That plays against Georgia. That plays against anybody. Can he do that 7 times, 10 times on Friday? Because I think he's going to have to. He can do it a few times, but how do we adjust to that? Because part of the thing where I feel confident is Ty Simpson, though he's not looking to run, was forced to run.
Yes.
Because they were holding up on the back end, or they were confusing him. Either way, it was effective.
I think it was the latter. I think he was confused a lot of that game.
This guy will take off quicker, and he's quite fast. But how many times do you see their quarterback drop back and say, no, go, and he's got to run? Because he hasn't had to do that a lot so far this season because they face some really bad defenses.
I want to see it. I want to talk about it. I want us to be here on Monday going, man, oh, man. Obviously, in many of our minds already, we've moved on to the next game, and we haven't played this one. There's a ton of us thinking about the Miami game. And, honestly, although it would severely dampen the mood temporarily, that Miami game is going to be big regardless. If you lose to Virginia, you have to beat Miami to have any shot at all of looking at the college football playoff as a destination that you can make. Because now you're going to have to win the ACC, in my opinion. If you have an ugly loss, like a loss to Virginia, now you're going to have to go win the ACC. And to do that, you'd probably have to beat Miami here so that you have the leg up on them in conference, and then you get a chance to play Georgia Tech in the championship game, or at least that's the way it seems mapped out now. Whereas if you beat Virginia and lose to Miami here, you may still play them again, actually, in the ACC championship game. So regardless, the game will feel huge. But, man, I can only imagine just how bananas this place is going to be on Monday morning if on Friday night. Or Saturday morning, for that matter, we'll be out of town. But how just the energy in this place is different when a rivalry game is on deck and both teams are elite.
I'm telling you, if you get this win on Friday and it's not fluky, it's a good win of any kind, there will be moments on Saturday, for us it'll be in the car, but when you're watching the noon window, the 3:30 slate, the primetime games, where you're going to get up out of your chair and just go stretch uncomfortably because you're thinking about what's coming. Yes, that's going to happen. That's That's the beauty of it. We have been begging for this, and you're going to get it one way or the other, but you're really going to get that feeling if you handle business Friday night.
I just miss it. It's been so long. It has been so long since Florida State Miami meant something massive to the nation, to everybody who watches college football. It's just been so long since that energy that it's palpable. That's one of the great things about Florida State's dynasty years and the success this program has had in general with the 3 national championships. We've played in some gigantic tilts, just games that really matter to college football fans at large. And whenever that happens, whenever you're in line for that kind of a game, the city comes alive. It breathes differently. You feel it. When you go into your local shop to get a coffee or whatever it is you're doing, or you go to your grocery store, or you stop somewhere along the way on the way home to get food, or what, you sense it and feel it amongst everybody you're around. It's almost the knowing nod. Yeah, you feel that? Me too. Me too. Man, is this going to be important? This feels rather big.
It's the better version of, this is the storm season. When a storm's approaching, and you go out to grab some food, and you feel that anticipation in the air, and there's dread, and people, it's like a day before it's supposed to, and you don't know where the cone's going to go. But everybody has that little thing, when you're walking around.
Everybody good here? We're all good.
Grocery store, go to pick up food.
Everybody prepared?
Right. This way, though.
This is a different way.
You ready for this?
Well, you got to remind yourself this is why you love the game. This is what it means to be good and be a part of the big picture and to matter again and to have something worth losing. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
It's not just a drink, it's a vibe. Cool off all summer long with bold and beautiful cocktails from Café de Martín. Try the stunning berry champagne with flowers on top, a refreshing pineapple coconut margarita, and the all-new tamarindo sour, or our spicy cantadito. Available Tuesday through Friday for just $12.50. Take a trip to Peru this summer at Café de Martín in the Esposito Shopping Center. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you are thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Hey, Knoll fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Budget Blinds of Tallahassee is your local window covering experts. They do it all: blinds, shades, drapery, shutters, even home automation. And they'll be there with you from the design to the measuring to the installation. Budget Blinds is with you every step of the way.
Hello, I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Let us help you with your unique window treatment needs. Call us at 668-4835 for a free in-home consultation, or find us online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Tired of watching baseball score updates on your phone? Get off the bench and head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is your home for all MLB games in-state or nationwide. Enjoy the coldest drinks, Tallahassee's best wings, and watch your team in crystal clear comfort. And if you like to compete, come by Tuesday nights for CP Trivia and Thursday nights for Beer Bingo, where you can walk home with cold, hard cash. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
What's up, gang? This is an easy one. I've told you guys on the air before. Now, Harry's doesn't know this. Harry's makes razors. They know that. But they don't know that on the Jeff Cameron Show, I've talked about using Harry's. See, I've got the razor right here. Now, this is set up to go to travel because I am traveling this weekend, so I've already prepared. And they gave me a nice little travel-sized bottle to bring with me. Sorry, you want to see this side? This is Harry's. They sent your boy razors and wanted me to talk about it. But I was like, I already use Harry's. I love Harry's. So this is easy. I'm kind of obsessed with razors. It goes way back. I started by getting angry at the cost of razors. You all know we're all men here, and it's difficult. Well, maybe not all men. I don't know. Women might use the Harry's on their legs or something too. I don't know. But the point is, for years, I was searching for the right blade. And I didn't want to spend $1 gazillion on razors. And then finally, I settled on, by accident, Harry's, and now I won't use anything else. I only use Harry's. First of all, Harry's owns their own factory. They've been perfecting and manufacturing these blades process, the whole blades process they've been perfecting for 100 years. So you're getting the very best blade, and I want my blades sharp. I don't want to have to struggle to shave my face. I want to get in, get out. Look at this baby face. Look at it. I shaved using Harry's this morning. For a limited time, our listeners can get Harry's trial set for only $8 plus a free gift at harrys.com/warchant. Head over to harrys.com/warchant to receive our exclusive discount. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Jeff Cameron Show by letting them know, and Warchant for that matter, that you heard about it on this show, okay? So harrys.com/warchant. Tell them we sent you. You're not going to regret it. I'm telling you, fellas, Harry's, it's where it's at. harrys.com/warchant.
End Zone Blend, part of your game plan.
Support local and our favorite coffee roaster. Order Grassroots Coffee's End Zone Blend today at grassrootscoffee.com. And let's keep driving the Noles to victory.
It's that easy. Drink Grassroots Coffee and help support the Florida State Seminoles. And don't forget, you can get 15% off your first order at grassrootscoffee.com.
Grassroots Coffee's brand new End Zone Blend.
Grassroots Coffee.
Made for everyone.
Loved everywhere.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Tish inviting you to join us for our big Oktoberfest celebration. Friday, October the 3rd at Bannerman Crossings. Live music, Das Hot Dog Eating Contest brought to you by Dog It All. Ton of activities, tons of prizes, and it's all to benefit the Joanna Francis Living Well Foundation. That's Friday, October 3rd, 6 to 9:30 p.m. at Bannerman Crossings with the Greg Tish Show and Real Talk 93.3.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
locally owned and operated radio station. Appreciate your support of the show on YouTube, Warchant TV as well. Thanks for that. Caught up on the chat during the break, and Jared asked a question. We can lead with it here. It's fun. How cool would it be to beat Virginia, beat Miami next week, beat them again in the ACC championship to deny them the elusive championship regardless of what happens after that? Yeah, it's funny, Jared. Thanks for the contribution and the question. What's funny about that is that it's hard not to get carried away. Right underneath that, Brett said, I'm with Jeff, just enjoying the year. After last year, what a difference. Yeah, I'm trying to remind myself of that. But you can't help it. You have a little bit of success, you get carried away. Your mind begins to dream of the endless possibilities that await. I know Tom and I have talked about this randomly since it became a reality in the college football world, and that is someday walking into Doak Campbell Stadium in a cold weather game in which you're hosting a playoff contest. That'll have a different feel to it altogether. And, I've been very fortunate to work in this field for as long as I have and to go to national championship games. You and I were down on the field before the Rose Bowl. I've been to Stanley Cup finals and, you name it, all this different stuff that is amazing to be a part of, out to Omaha for the College World Series and all those things. And it's cool. It's very, very cool. But we would finally, Tom, in the world of college football, experience something that we never have, which is hosting a playoff game in such a scenario would be really, really cool. Well, actually, we may be too good to host a playoff game, at least initially.
Yeah, it's something that I've hoped for since the inception of the on-campus playoff game, just to feel whatever that is and to see a weird team coming into town. I would hope in that scenario it would be somebody strange and not a familiar foe. Of course, it would be fun to play, say, Alabama in that game, but we've done that. Like, give me somebody weird. Give me somebody from the West Coast, or give me an SEC opponent that we don't often see. What if it was Tennessee? What was Florida State, Tennessee playoff game, Tallahassee? Come on, man. That is fantastic.
Yeah, throw Oregon out here.
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, how crazy would that be?
Yeah, the airport wouldn't know what to do.
Or Oregon, Florida State in a playoff game here would be phenomenal. Really, any playoff game would be. You're right. It's interesting when we look big picture college football because now it includes where we fit. It's back to including where we fit and what matchups you want, don't want, and why. Now you're really, if you didn't already, and I think a lot of you do because you're college football fans, just like I am. That's why we deviate from the course. We talk a lot about other programs and other games and matchups and things that we want to see. And you guys know, I mean, this show, while being Florida State centric, is an exclusive. We'll talk about the NFL, Major League Baseball, you name it, just anything I feel like talking about, frankly. But the point is, now you're having to look at those other games through a different prism, not just the larger talking point of college football or the narrative, but really how does it affect Florida State and their chances to navigate a playoff run and get into the dance and turn this TV show into something that, we would find highly rated. We would be very excited to see our role continue to emerge as, something that is more of a lead role. And that's how I watch the other teams that I think, don't know yet, still early, but that I think the evidence suggests are good. That's how I watch Oregon. That's how I watch certain teams in the SEC. That's how I watch a couple of teams in the Big 12 or the Group of Five even. Like, I think the winner of the American Conference is going to the college football playoff. So is that USF? Is that Memphis? Who is that? What's that matchup if we were to play it? That kind of a thing. That's and where we fit. I'll say that, I was talking about it yesterday some, and I got a text where a person asked me whether I was serious when I said that I thought an 11-1 Florida State team would make the playoff, even if they didn't win the conference championship. And I said, yeah, I do believe that. And this person said, I'm not so sure. Because obviously in that scenario, what would have to happen, or what would most likely have to happen, is that we would lose the game to Miami, let's say. And then they would go on and play in the ACC championship game. And then Georgia Tech, because their schedule is pretty easy from this point forward, wins out, and they're the other combatant in the ACC championship game. So now Florida State finishes the season 11-1, a gaudy 11-1 with a win over Alabama, but doesn't make it into the ACC championship game. And now we're relying on the good graces of the playoff committee, which nobody wants to do. But I still think Florida State would get in at that point. I guess you could debate it by saying if Alabama goes on to have a bad season, they would look at that win and say, really, what was it worth? And who else did you beat? Florida's terrible. Virginia Tech is terrible.
Clemson's bad.
Clemson's bad now. All of a sudden, like a lot of the games you figured could be feathers in your cap, maybe not counting for as much. And that would be especially bad if Alabama spiraled for some reason. Would the committee then say, no, I'd rather have a 10-2 team that has a lot more in the way of quality wins? The committee loves to look at wins. They bring that point up all the time. Like, well, who did you beat?
Yeah.
We're not as worried about losses.
Right, yeah. I mean,
allegedly.
Of the 9 teams you beat this year versus Florida State's 11, do you have more quality ones? Or is this just a reflexive exercise because we have knee pads when we get near Greg Sankey? And that's something that's very frustrating. But even for me, somebody who pushes back on what's possible.
You're more cynical than I am typically on this subject.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they have proven that they will lower the floor, and it's annoying. 11-1 in the 12-team playoff era for Florida State. They can't go play in their ACC championship game. That's you're in. You're in.
I think you're in too. It's just a matter though of you do ask yourself again, well, are they going to let 3 teams in from the ACC in that scenario? Because the winner of the ACC championship game,
right? Georgia Tech could steal your bid. In theory.
Tech would go if they lost to Miami in the ACC championship game. I think certainly the loss in that particular game shouldn't be the thing that.
Well, I think if Georgia Tech lost in the ACC championship, you'd give Florida State a nod in. Let's say you only had 2 ACC teams, but if they win, they steal a bid. Miami gets in anyway. Yeah, I mean it could get tight.
You could get a little tight there.
You're going to compare usually at that level of 10, 11, 12. We're going to compare 3 lost teams with 11-1 Florida State that did beat Alabama, Florida, and Clemson. Look, I get it. They're down this year, but they're power teams. They're programs that have – if Florida, by some miracle, went 9-3 this year, they would have bent over backwards to get them in. So you can't have it both ways. These are teams that are talented enough, and Florida State didn't just beat Alabama. Florida State controlled the game.
Yeah,
so you want to use game control? They did it.
Well, but the problem is, again, in the scenario we just laid out, it would be that Alabama went on to have a terrible year, and people say, so what? That would be the problem with that. And I do think in Swiss Irish, I brought this up earlier, if Notre Dame goes 10-2, they're going to make the playoff. Now, let's hope they lose another game, and it's a moot point. But you look at the rest of their schedule, it seems like it's going to be difficult for them to lose another game. They could, but it seems unlikely to me.
Well, I don't think they make it over an 11-1 Florida State. I don't think so.
A 10-2 Notre Dame?
Correct.
In this scenario, if Bama's terrible and Clemson's terrible, they might.
They could. What if Texas A&M falls apart? Then they've got no leg to stand on.
That's what my point is. Then you're hoping for a lot of things to happen for the 2 teams that have beaten Notre Dame, which is Miami, who in this scenario is going to the ACC championship game. So that's not going to. That's not going to happen. You would need A&M to fall to pieces for that loss to look bad. Right now, it doesn't.
But it is a loss. It's a second one. It is the second one
loss
on their schedule.
But you and I agree, though, on this point. Like, if you play, let's say, 3 top 5 teams and lose to 2 of them, and the team that's trying to get in over you has 1 less loss than you and played 0 top 10 teams, you do have to have a discussion.
Yes, you do. That is not Notre Dame's schedule this year, though.
No, they have played 2 top 10 teams as we sit here today and narrowly lost both.
We did too. We did too when we played Alabama. They were a top 10 team.
They were.
And we smoked their ass.
We need Bama to keep winning. That's good for us. I said that right after that game ended. Now go have a good year, Alabama. Go be good. Not that I like Alabama. It's just it looks good for us.
I'm here for the debate and what is possible, what is worth dreading at 10-2, not at 11-1. And
10-2, I'm nervous as hell. I don't think we're going
10-2, not in the ACC championship.
I think we're probably screwed at that point.
Yes, because Clemson has failed you, because Florida has failed you, because Alabama might fail you at 10-2. Totally different discussion. 11-1, man, they'd have to. If you thought they contorted themselves to get Texas from 7-3, They'd have to do
that
some
was a
crazy stuff, at 11-1 in order to get that out of the 12th or whatever it is, the final at-large non-automatic qualifier place. Man,
it just depends on what the options are, right? It's a TV show.
Yes.
And in this case, that actually benefits Florida State this time around. If it's a debate between brands, which it appears to be, in a 12-team playoff, I mean, Florida State is going to help your brand. If you put them in the playoffs, sure. I mean, eyes on sets, this is certifiable. What Florida State is compared to almost anybody you would be fighting for that last spot or that at-large spot.
What if between now and then, God forbid, and this is not a wink, wink, nod, nod thing, well, what if it was announced that Florida State had a beginning date in a Power 2 conference? Does that change the nature of the discussion? Because it did for Texas.
Yeah.
It did for Texas 2 years ago.
Well, it depends on where that conference, which conference that is.
Of course.
Is. Yeah.
If it's the Southeastern variety,
like, come on,
look how good, 11-1. I mean, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Watch Feinbaum run to our aid. Because remind yourselves now, he has taken every position, that particular person, on Florida State's standing in the SEC.
Well, this is what he does about everything.
When you take every position, you can't be wrong.
He doesn't have a backbone.
They're a natural fit. Oh, no, the SEC would never take them, but they're a natural culture fit.
He has said it. He said everything there is to say on every issue. He never has a real point. It's not worth our time. But, this is a fun little sports talk exercise. That's all this really is. I mean, let's just win Friday night. I am firmly of the belief that if you take care of business, we're not really going to be in danger of anything. Obviously, you'll get your chance. All you want is the opportunity to prove it. All you want is to find out, are you good enough? Well, these next two games, if you win them both, you are wholeheartedly in the conversation for the college football playoff. You'll be ranked in the top 4 if you win these next two football games. It'll be a moot point. You'll either do it on merit or you won't, because from that point forward, it'd be hard to lose two games.
Oh, I think if you win these next two and you go to the ACC championship game at, say, 11-1, you slip up somewhere along the way, you could still lose the ACC championship, be 11-2, and make the playoff.
If you win the next two games.
If you win the next two games. Yes, 100%. Lots on the line over these next 10 days. A lot.
It's exciting, though. That's all you ask for at the beginning of every year, to matter, to be a part of that, to have to be nervous because you have something to lose is all you ever really want. It's funny because it can get frustrating. You can tangle yourself in knots thinking about the scenarios that they may want out there, and you try to guess ahead of the curve and do all those things. But really, you want to be part of that debate.
Well, and embrace it for this year. And I'm not saying embrace the debate because that's their slogan, but embrace where we are because, look, next year's not guaranteed.
Oh, no.
You could be breaking in 2 new coordinators. You need to replace all 5 offensive linemen. The quarterback may or may not be back. You got a couple of receivers that might be gone. Your anchor, the defensive line. Like, man, that could be its own headache and something between last year and what this year has been to start. So for the now, this is fun. This is a lot of fun, and we need to enjoy the ride rather than point out all the turns that are coming up. Like, this ride is great. I'm glad we're on this ride. This is a lot more fun than last year's one.
You know, I do wonder the fickle nature of college football right now. You know, you bring up the point. It's hard not to let it get away from you and thinking ahead, like all the things they are going to lose off this team next year. You know, at the end of this season, it's a lot.
That's why we lean into the now.
But it's also one of those things where you're like, I would like some stability. I would like some stability, but it's modern college football.
Well, but they could have gone 8-4 and it would have been the same thing this year. You know, they could have lost to Bama and they would have been on track and we're like, well, what are we really? That offensive line doesn't have eligibility either way. This is the path they needed.
They're done. Yeah.
This is the path you decided to walk. That it's a totally new offense with a ton of veterans. And we'll see how many of them come back next year. But we know, 5 offensive linemen. Darrell Jackson's gone. Quite a few players on your defense as well. And you set the over-under at 1.5 coordinators. 1.5 coordinator replacements.
I'm going to take the under on that.
Still, There's a reason I didn't set it at 0.5 because you're probably going to lose one.
It would seem likely, especially if this is a continued reason why you're winning games at a high level. Yeah, fool around and totally shut down Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, your coach is likely to be hired.
Run the table this year, and this is a lot of wholesale change, but let's run that table and have that problem. We had already been begging for this problem. What if they're traveling to Virginia undefeated? We did this exercise in July. Well, I hope we have that problem. Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Good Problemsville, USA.
You are doing a lot to bring some stability to your program, though. When you win, if you win big Friday night, you knock off Miami, you create that further buzz that's out there already because you're a top 10 team currently. You just actually finally hit on a recruiting class, meaning that you got it right. Like a lot of these young players can really play, and they're already showing us they can really play. And this has been an area, a bone of contention for some time with Mike, so transfer portal heavy that we've kind of whiffed on the evals a little too often for my liking with the high school players. But this last class turns out to be a very good one. And now, again, you're trying to reestablish yourself to have an opportunity to grab some upper crust recruits in this next class to add to the success of this one. And you're starting to see it. I mean, you're getting commits. You're hearing higher profile kids start to show interest, kids that are committed elsewhere, still interested, taking visits, listening. So it's starting to happen. You may make it so that it's hard to have a bad recruiting class. If you win like they're winning now and that continues, you may make it hard to have a bad recruiting class.
Yeah, I think the recruiting that you need to do if you continue down this path is just close those deals and then also make it very hard for Tony White to say no to you, because another 12 months would go a long way for this program in terms of creating that long-term stability. But instead of looking at the parking lot and saying, is that an unmarked sheriff's car? Why is that car in this parking lot? We got problems arriving here. What's going on? Enjoy the building that you're in. This is a conversation that it's legitimate. Florida State in the playoff. It's a legitimate conversation. That happened fast. Boy, that escalated quickly. But here we are. We're legitimately talking about a path to the playoff and 2 wins in the next 10 days. And you got the inside track with a get-out-of-jail-free loss to go to the playoff. That's bizarre.
It's bizarre and it gets fun because then you sit down at your computer and start thinking about the possible places, the games that you may have to attend, locales.
Buddy, my family reached out and they said, hey, what are you doing for Christmas? What are you doing for New Year's? I said,
hell if I know.
I said, Florida State's good. I've got no idea, because there are games on the 20th. There are games on the 30th and 31st.
That is correct.
I've got no idea what I'm doing for the holidays, and I have to keep those dates open because they could be playing multiple times in December.
That's a good reason to have to keep them open.
Last year,
whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I can do it now.
Where do you want to
cover this Saturday's game? We're 1-7.
You want to meet on the East Coast of the state? I'll walk there. I've got the time.
Yeah, last year that was I remember starting to make beach plans, like weeks on end. I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter. Don't we have a game that weekend? Who cares? Aren't we playing on that Saturday? I mean, maybe. I haven't looked. It doesn't really matter right now.
A game is played, but are we really trying?
Are we showing up to play? I mean, are we going to do that? Pitch Petty Pools and Spas have everything you need for, pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers. They got the cold plunge tubs now, too. And they're beautiful. Well, everything Hot Springs does is premium. That's true of their hot tubs, and now it's true of the cold plunge tubs. They've got those. You can go look at them, and you'll see, by the way, when you go over to Greer Road and you check out the display of tubs, you'll see that the cold plunge tubs are very pragmatic. They don't take up a ton of space. Like, you could have a really small deck outside your house that little cold plunge tub could sit in nicely. I was pleasantly surprised by that. Pitch Petty Pools and Spas, if you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
Injured? Call Fasig Brooks and come back stronger. Offices, Tallahassee.
The 2025 hurricane season is here. Are your gutters and drains up for the challenge? If not, now's the time to call New Vision Gutters. Your trusted local team that keeps water out, no matter what the skies throw at you. Full service from top to bottom for gutter repairs, gutter installs, leaf and debris guards, drainage fixes. We handle it all. Don't wait for the next big storm to find out you've got a problem. Call locally owned New Vision Gutters today. We keep our minds in the gutters, so you don't have to. Online at newvisiongutters.com.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
For 75 years, Nick's Toggery has been dressing customers for special occasions in their lives. And fall Saturdays are always a special occasion for the Garnet and Gold. And Nick's is always there to suit up the team with pregame style. Because when you look good, you play better. So when it's time for you to look your best, from special occasions to everyday to game day wear, shop Nick's downtown in Market Street or Nick's Big and Tall Market Street. Nick's Toggery and Nick's Big and Tall, the proud men's clothiers for the Garnet and Gold.
Attention all sandwich lovers. Café de Martín is bringing Peruvian fire to your lunch break with their all-new summer sandwich combos. Asado that melts in your mouth. Fried fish so fresh and crispy, it snaps. And smoked pork or chicken? Yes, please. Comboed with Peruvian fries and an iced tea for just $15. Available Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 3. Upgrade your lunch at Café de Martín in the Esposito Shopping Center. Online at cafedemartin.com.
From the team behind Mac and More Systems comes IOWise, Tallahassee's trusted source for IT services. Protect your business with 24/7 cybersecurity, managed IT support, cloud storage solutions, network design, voice over IP phone systems, expert tech counseling, and more. Whether your business is growing fast or just getting started, IOWise keeps your systems running smoothly and securely. Local service, big solutions. Visit iowise.com today and work wiser with IOWise.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, Florida's not going to try to hire Tony White. We would have greater fears of Tony White leaving to go somewhere else. They're not going to grab Tony White. He's never been a head coach. And they're going to go and try to grab the biggest name available. If I were Florida, this is interesting, Tom. You know where I would go if I were Florida.
The Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I'd make Dan Lanning tell me no. I think Dan Lanning might tell them no. There was a time where there's no way he would tell them no, but that time may have passed because Oregon's all in. And they have a roster, and they are not cheap.
Yeah, the pipeline has been created. Yeah. They have NIL resources galore. They also have Big Ten television dollars galore.
Yeah,
the Big Ten isn't the deepest league in the world, yet it's the richest league in the world. It's a very nice situation as long as kids are used to saying yes to Eugene, which they are by now. It's been a full generation of kids going to Eugene now.
Well, and I'll tell you, if you can get a kid out to Eugene, and they could get on that campus and they can see those facilities. My dad went out there a couple of years ago and called me from the facilities and said, son, this is outlandish. Everybody should come here. This is unreal. It's Disney World. Like, they have unbelievable, and they have to because it's in Oregon, because you're trying to get Southern kids to go out to the Pacific Northwest. to a place that they're not familiar with, an environment they're not familiar with, not an area that they've ever dreamt really of going to live, let's say. And it's a long way from their parents and their family and the people that have watched them play. And you got to convince them, come on all the way out to Eugene. Come on. But you do it with a huge NIL offer if they're that good, and they've got that. And then those facilities are second to none.
Also, if you are of the mindset and you're in the Big Ten that they are going to expand to the Southeast, if you think that they're legitimately going to be able to pull off a coup and grab Florida State, Clemson, you name your other two, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Miami, like pick two. That is only more reason for you to stay if you're Dan Lanning in Oregon, because now you're going to get road games down in that state, gives you an excuse to pop by a couple of high schools. It legitimizes Oregon even more in the eyes of kids from the Southeast. And it's still not as competitive as it would be if you actually were based out of Gainesville and having to climb uphill and play Georgia every year. Like, yeah, I'd stay at Oregon. Absolutely.
He's obviously, speaking of Georgia, he has those ties. Well, hell, if you go all the way back, he's got ties with Mike Norvell. He's got ties with Alabama. He's got, so he's had ties with a lot of people. But, the only thing I can think of is if he would want to come back to the SEC. But I will say, you look at his coaching career, it's not like he got his start in the SEC or anything like that. He was also born in Kansas City, Missouri, so it's not like he grew up in Atlanta or something and has always wanted to be a part of the Southern football culture and, coach the game down here. He doesn't necessarily care about that, I don't think. Every coach cares about the dollars in NIL. Every coach cares about the facilities, and he's got second to none. He's all set there. But if I were Florida, I would make that my goal to get him. But I think they're going to go after Lane Kiffin. They're going to beg Lane Kiffin. And the other side of it is this. Florida, if given their choice between Dan Lanning and Lane Kiffin, would probably choose Lane Kiffin. Like most of the Florida fans would choose Lane Kiffin because they want a Steve Spurrier guy. They want a guy that is, likes to chide other people. He's smarmy and sarcastic. He can be very funny, actually. And he's an offensive mind. And he's had a lot of success throwing the ball around the lot. And that they would like to see that return to Florida, where right now they have an anemic offense.
Yeah, they like jerks who can call offensive plays. They've got a history of that there.
Yeah.
It's part of the fabric of who they are, jerks.
Yeah. We grew to like Spurrier, though. You and I did.
Yes.
We did.
But you'd still call him a jerk.
Yeah, but in a lovable way.
Yeah.
More of a character of the game. Kind of just a character.
Once he got softer, yes.
Yeah.
He got a little softer about that. A little bit more honest.
But, listen, again.
Not 90 Spurrier. 90 Spurrier was insufferable.
Of course. He always has resting bitch face. That's part of his problem.
Well, he was a resting and active one of those.
Yeah, I mean, that was a difficult thing about him. But you always knew where he stood, I'll tell you that. It was unrelenting.
I feel like the counterculture of having to take South Carolina like he did Duke, I think that softened him up a little bit, made him appreciate the finer things in life rather than what he was doing at his alma mater.
The point would be, I would be more concerned if Florida were able to lure Dan Lanning than I am if they get Lane Kiffin. Now, Lane will probably, in all likelihood, still be a problem. I mean, he's probably going to be able to take that job and recruit right away. He is a good recruiter. So, they'll get better. We know that. But I think long-term, if I were them, I'd want Dan Lanning. But I don't know that Dan's leaving anywhere. I don't think he's leaving for anybody else right now. I mean, Oregon's a good gig. It's a really good gig. That's one of the biggest changes in my lifetime. Is it went from completely irrelevant to now you consider them as one of the more elite programs because of the consistency. They still haven't won a national championship, obviously the ever elusive national championship, but they are consistently very, 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 very good.
It's an anchor in the sport. I mean, if you said 10 years ago, because Oregon was good 10 years ago, they were very good.
Yes, they were.
Beat our ass because we couldn't stop fumbling in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
But if you said that Oregon is going to be leaps and bounds a more significant program than USC, I mean, that would not be conceivable. And they have been. It's not even close. USC is more Miami than it is what it was 20 years ago as a program, which was the preeminent program in college football. USC is an afterthought. Oregon is of great significance every year.
I got to tell you, the Virginia Tech job, what interests me is that now that they have fired their coach and they are irrelevant currently in the sport, they felt the need to not only fire the coach, and rightfully, but then also announce immediately after that they are investing $240+ million into their athletic programs, and most of that money is going to football. Now, you could argue and you can say, that seems a little too late, guys. I mean, you're dead and buried right now. This is a long rebuild that you're looking at, but that's not the modern era of college football. The right guy at the right time, and in the NIL era and the transfer portal era, you can turn things around quickly. And if I were them, I'm calling Alex Golesh at USF, and that's the kind of guy you could get to leave USF very easily. Well, I say that. I mean,
the Tulane guy, maybe.
Yeah, somebody like that. It's a similar type path. But Alex Golesh is 41 years old, and he has taken USF very quickly to a place that we probably didn't anticipate.
I think that's also a signal to, maybe we should have been involved with Clemson and Florida State and kind of in some ways not North Carolina about this whole existential crisis thing in the ACC. I think maybe we need to signal to people that we still care over here at Virginia Tech. We care about being good at football.
There was a time.
There was a time. It's more than just enter Sandman and then we get blown out. Like they used to be enter Sandman and then we kick your ass. And we kind of want to do that again.
Now it's enter Sandman and we get our ass beat.
That's right. Please notice us. Please notice us. Maybe that's what that's about too.
Did you read the article on Alex Golesh that came out before the Miami game? There was one in The Athletic, and I read it. That's a really fascinating story. I didn't know where he went to school. I wanted to see, like, what's his alma mater? Because I was looking at potential landing spots for him. He's an Ohio State grad. But he grew up in Florida, but by way of Russia. He was born in Moscow. His parents are Russian, full-on Russians. Came over to America, made something of themselves, forged a life. It's an amazing read the story. It's good. But they live in Florida. They love Tampa. And, like, USF is holding out hope because they're retired and they live there and they're right by him. And he's, they're a very close-knit family, as you would be if you came over from a foreign country, having to learn the ways of another culture. And so they're very tight-knit. And he has said many times, like, he'd like to stay. I think he's kind of hinting to USF, give me lots of reasons to stay here. Like, I don't even think it's money. Money's always going to be a part of it.
You don't think he forwarded the administration maybe the Virginia Tech announcement? He's like, look at this.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
The $240 million investment.
Pretty cool exclamation point on the forward.
Look what they're doing. But yeah, like, I think if you're him, like, it seems to me now you're stuck. You're in the American Conference. You certainly need overwhelming evidence that they're in it to win it long term if you're going to stick around at USF, because those offers are about to happen for him. And you could argue that Florida would be wise to get Alex Golesh, but he's not a big enough name. I don't think they'll go get the guy that just crossed the field and shook your head coach's hand after beating you. I don't think they're going to go after him. He's not a big enough name.
No. And Lane is the perfect fit in every level because they do need offense. And it's not just for program history. It's about how are they failing currently. So you're right. I think they need the glitz, the glamour, the points, the production, the star power. It's Lane and everybody else for that job. But
Yeah.
Golesh might actually be the better hire.
Maybe. I do think, though, yeah, it's not a sexy hire, but he's a damn fine football coach. He really is. But he's only 41 years old. He's got a daughter and a son. He's young, married. His career is ascending. But if you're him, obviously, of the lesser tier jobs, there'll be a lot of them out there. I mean, that Virginia Tech job would seem fairly enticing if that investment is very real and they're going to go all in. It's going to be consistent. And
well, if you consider it also, if you're him, as the penultimate job, I'm going to get the next big one. But if I flip Virginia Tech after improving USF greatly and having them be the talk of September of an entire month of a college football season, and maybe still a group of 5 representative in the playoff, if you can do that at Virginia Tech as well, then the next offer he gets will be Ohio State, or it will be USC or Florida or wherever. One of those programs where you go, yep, it's about time he got the call.
He inherited a nightmare, so, he doesn't have a gaudy record at USF, but this is going to be their opportunity to win the conference. You go way back. He coached under Matt Campbell at Iowa State. He was a tight ends coach there. He was a GA going way back under Gundy at Oklahoma State. He's been around. He's been in some big-time programs. He coached for years at Illinois as he came up through the ranks, tight end coach most of the time in those places, along with offensive coordinator or assistant. He was that kind of guy. Then he became then he was a coach at UCF, OC and tight ends coach at UCF for a year. And then Tennessee. A lot of people think that his dream job is the Tennessee job. That ain't opening up anytime soon.
Interesting. I think it could if Heupel has the old pucker a couple more times.
That Tennessee team looks pretty good to me.
It does.
I mean, it looked pretty good to me.
It does.
There's
that whole thing of, okay, you've got us to the table, but why aren't we eating here, Josh?
Well, they made the playoffs last year.
They did.
They got stomped because their quarterback was a buffoon.
They did. And then he had a chance. They had Georgia beat. How the hell you lose that game? In a million years, Josh.
But I would tell you, we think Brent Key's a great coach, and they had Georgia beat every which way to Sunday, and they lost. Georgia's a tough nut to crack, man. They are resilient.
They are, but I don't think Brent got magically conservative in a moment when he could put them away. That's the thing. I don't think it's something that gets him fired immediately with Josh. I'm saying, but if it happens again, this Georgia example will be referenced, and they'll go, what the hell?
That was a tough one.
They are dead, buried, and beat, my man.
They've got it won. Yes, they do. That is a toughie. They also missed a field goal. I mean, I need my man to make the field goal.
Well, they also botched that. They got a 5-yard penalty. They don't center it. They burn a time.
They botched a lot of stuff, Tom.
Buddy.
Anyhow, Virginia Tech would be wise to hire Alex Golish, in my opinion. We'll see if they go after him. And if you're USF, you got to do everything in your power to prevent that, because you're going places right now. That's it. That he's going to take that program.
Stadium right around the corner on campus.
Yeah, Tampa is I've always thought, you have too. We were worried about it way back when. We were concerned that they were coming on strong because that was a program. Obviously, we remember the incredible year where at one point they were ranked number 2 in the country and they beat Auburn and all those things. And it's the famous Bumblebee speech and good old Lou Holtz. It's all of those things.
Oh, you're not
every aeronautical principle.
You're not fly.
Yeah. So all that stuff, but we were worried because you thought, man, that's a sleeping giant. You're talking about a major city in the state of Florida where it is recruiting rich, and they've got that. They got the hospital and the medical school thing going on. Your research university, you got a chance to have a lot of money there. This could. At the time, we thought Dion should take that job.
Yes, agreed. Now,
instead of the Colorado job.
If they turn into...
Not that I would have wanted Dion if I'm a USF, but, I think it would have been a huge, huge hire, and he might have been able to sustain something there because of the recruits he could get.
If they turn into a group of 5 juggernaut the next few years, which they could if Golish stays, and they're penciled in as the representative, one of the principal figures you have to thank is Tampa Bay Lightning's owner, Jeff Finnick, because he helped finance that downtown area that does have the hospital now, and the partnership between the university and Tampa General.
Right.
And that would be one of those things where I go, thank you for the Stanley Cups. Damn you, man. Now we got another contender here that we got to compete with for kids in the 727 and the 813 and all surrounding areas.
Yeah, problematic. Yeah, I think in our lifetime we'll see USF be a power. We might be old, but I think we're going to see it at some point. There's just too much money. And you're in such a recruiting rich area. It's if you have your own stadium and you catch up to UCF, who has their own, and you start investing and care about big time college football.
Well, yeah, that's why not just about the money gap thinking above us to the SEC and the Big Ten, but this moment for Florida State to get there before
get your money
before the trouble comes brewing from Tampa and other places that are growing rapidly. Get your money and stay one step ahead, because then you'll be in a position like Florida is relative to us, which is a couple generations ahead in the endowment world and in the money world. Florida started before us. If it wasn't for that, I don't know where these two programs would be. They had a 50-year head start. We've got the same amount of titles and Heisman trophies.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done a lot more with a lot less.
And they could be a combination of the two by the time it's all said and done.
By the way, my boys over at Tried and True Consulting were in town. I saw them over the weekend. They came to the game. Don and Joe and Rusty. Those guys are doing great work. And you know what? I got to tell you, Tom, I talk about ad boards. I talk about payment processing and things that, like I don't think people really care who processes their payments as long as it's safe and it saves them money. So you might as well invest with fellow Knowles to do it. And a company that you can trust is also great in the community. And they are. And guess who's jumping on board with them? The battle's in. How about that?
That's not the proceeds part?
You're going to...
Beyond the 10% proceeds?
That's beyond that.
Oh, wow.
They're going into business together. Pretty effing cool.
Okay.
See, this is people helping people. We're all getting together, doing work together. That's how Tried and True works. That's how you and your business could work with Tried and True and us and the Battle's In. See, we turn this into a very successful bouillabaisse of just, hey, you got your ball in. Let's go. Let's have fun together.
The gumbo of greatness.
There it is. Oh, I like it. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
News now.
2 arrests have been made and a warrant has been issued for a third suspect in connection to a bank jugging scheme that occurred in the Fresh Market parking lot. Justin Moore in Darwin. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 94. Winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies again tonight. Lows level off around 71. Partly cloudy skies and foggy early tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. Daytime highs approaching 92. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 91.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, I never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
But you still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So, I do think, Tom, that a win against Virginia, as we were been pretty much just focused all day, Balls McWednesday edition of the show today, about this game because it's the first real opponent we've played since Alabama. I do think it immediately ratchets up a week's worth of incredible conversation about the history of the rivalry between Florida State and Miami, which is, if you take a step back for a second from all of the hating of Miami that I feel in my heart, it is something to behold. It has been massive, and there's a younger audience that I also have that I forget sometimes never really got to experience that. And I'm really hoping that we arrive at this place, honestly, and they get to sense for the first time. Like, if you're in your 20s, you don't know of which I speak. You just don't. You never got to see or feel the magnitude of this game when both teams are in the top 5 and it matters seemingly more than anything in the college football world for a moment.
If you're in your early to mid 30s, you don't have an appreciation for it. If you're my age, you remember it, but you were in elementary school and middle school. This rivalry has been more relevant for the people in the stands and the people around the stadium for the last 25 years than it ever has been on the field. It has been largely irrelevant to the discussion about national championships in the last 25 years. There's a couple of pockets in there where one team plays the spoiler for the other. But hardly ever, I mean, the very beginning of this 25-year span, you've got some games with real implications. But since what, 03, 04?
It's crazy.
It's been a nothing burger. It's been, well, can they rise up and stop the winning streak for Florida State? Can they play the role of upset? That's been it. You have not had them at the same place at the same time until potentially next week.
Whenever I talk about it and go down memory lane, I'm thinking of obviously the late 80s and early 90s. Well, really for me, the early 90s, because not only going there and experiencing those games home and away, with my dad and then my buddies in school and all that, but just so many times that game having the national championship implications that it did, walking down Tennessee Street to the great AJ's Sports Bar and Grill and hearing just the sights and the sounds, just feeling that energy as the town begins to churn later in the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it builds and it builds and it builds to a point where you'd step outside on a Friday before the Saturday kickoff at noon against Miami, and you could barely contain it. People were nuts in a great way, though. There was a frivolity to it. There was something about it that you could just feel in a good way. It's really the origins of a Cat 5 maintain, because when you're feeling that good, you want to feel better. You just want to keep feeling good. It's here's to feeling good all the time. Right. It's that. You do. You're like, ooh, this is amazing. You feel that out there? People are pumped walking into that stadium, pre-gaming, walking into that stadium, steadying your buddy who pre-gamed a little harder than you did, knowing that you needed to, hey, it's Florida State, Miami. We're not playing Duke. You want to pass out for Duke, you pass out for Duke. I'll give you stuff when we get home later on. I'll make fun of you. But, the Miami game's the Miami game. This is it. This is the game, man. Get it together. Steel yourself. My friends sneaking in liquor. I never did such a thing. To the stadium and trying to get that guilty look off your face as you go past security, knowing that you're loaded for bear, whiskey all around your waist. All right, everybody keep it together. You always have that guy who looks guilty, can't help himself. He does the averted eye thing, and you're like, no, don't do that. Look him right in the eye. You're good. You look him right in the eye.
Welcome
with great confidence that you're doing nothing wrong.
You say, ready for this?
Yeah.
That's how you play it off right there.
You boldly step through those gates.
You ready for this game?
I can't wait, brother.
I am.
You know what? You walk up to the security guard with the whiskey all lined around your pockets and start a conversation. That's how unfettered you are. You have got no fear about this man and his ability to kick you out of the game.
What I can remember from the two home games against Miami in my undergrad years, 07 and 09, because 05 I was up north, was we had a few friends that came up from Miami, collectives of 4 to 6 people, and they were split 3 and 3, 3 Knowles, 3 Canes, and how the Miami fans that were within the 4 walls of your tailgate, they're okay. But you would warn them.
Yeah.
You'd say, when we go out, don't be interacting with other Miami fans.
Don't start with the nonsense.
Because we can't handle that problem.
They were not welcomed in my group. We didn't have it. We just, no.
Nary a one.
Nary a one. No.
Mm-hmm.
You go watch the game on your own, man.
That also spoke to where the stakes were a little bit lower in the lost decade.
Yes, they were.
Just a little bit lower.
National championships were on the line
07,
when we played them.
Kirby Freeman versus Weatherford Lee.
Like, 91, 93, 95. You're like, yeah, there's some things on the line now.
09 was a little testier because it was an opening weekend game. And so you didn't know what you had, what you didn't have. But that was also the other part of the problem is it was the first week of the year. So the hype would be inflated and false.
It was false. It's the right way to say it. Yes, It was definitely false. This will not be. What you'll get, what I'm describing, what you'll get next week, if this game goes according to plan and Florida State is, in fact, victorious over Virginia, what you'll get is the real deal. That energy that I'm talking about, you'll feel that. You'll feel it this weekend. You'll feel it Saturday and Sunday, but it will build. It will slowly build. You'll go out and about. If you live here in Tallahassee and you're listening to me, you know what I'm talking about, especially you old-timers. You know. You'll go out to a Gordo's. You'll go to a Corner Pocket. You'll go somewhere, and you'll feel that energy. It's fantastic. And everybody gives the knowing look. Like, yeah. Time to get it on. That place will be rabid. It will be exceptionally difficult for Miami to come and win that game.
Yeah, that's something where, because of the nature of the gig, when we're done at Indigo and everybody's fired up, my next goal will be, okay, let's get home to watch the game without incident. Because you're going to have the frat kids hanging over the railings and throwing stuff. I hope not. But like water balloons and stuff, or you're going to have security guards here, there, cops here, there. Hey, let me just get back to my place in one piece and then let's watch the game. Because those of you that go into the building, your night has only begun. There's going to be a lot of hijinks.
I mean, we did have that great moment a couple of years back. I mean, obviously the crazy fourth down catch and everything. But again, those teams were nowhere close to what they'll be this time around.
That was point and laugh at Miami.
That was fun. Yeah. Final hour, bonus hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Water is your home's worst enemy. It finds cracks, soft spots, and weaknesses. But not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal. A roof isn't decoration. It's your home's first line of defense. At GSWP Roofing, we treat every build like it's mission critical. We're GAF Master Elite certified, led by a former Marine. And we don't cut corners. We execute with discipline, precision, and materials that hold the line. Storm after storm, year after year. Repairs, replacements, full installs. This is roofing done by the book. No excuses, no shortcuts. GSWP Roofing. Online at gswproofing.com. With us, you're covered.
Number CCC 1335048.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the 7th Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, 7th Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The 7th Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
WVFT Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
Florida State 7-point favorites at Virginia in ACC football Friday night. Saturday, Kansas State laying 5.5 at Bill Snyder Family Stadium against UCF, 48.5 the total. Florida off until next week when they host the Texas Longhorns. Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans will miss 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. The Buccaneers are 3-0 after their win over the New York Jets. It's the best start in 20 years for the Buccaneers. They're a 3.5-point dog against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. Jaguars a 3-point underdog at the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. That number down from 4.5 points. Score $500 in rewards at the GBank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
Did you know that the survivability of a metal roof far exceeds that of a traditional shingle roof? At Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee, we have a brand new state-of-the-art roll former that produces the highest quality VersaPanel, PVR, and standing seam options. And we will guarantee to match or beat any local competitor's pricing. We're a family-owned business ready to offer you the very best sales and installation service in the area. And don't forget about our veterans and first responders discounts. Call Metal Roofing Sales today at 850-536-9123 or online at metalroofing.sales.net.
Florida man, you're all crooked again. What did you do to yourself this time?
Well, we were tailgating before the big game, and I had to defend Hank's honor. Some guy saw him wearing his gold chain and said, "Nice Gator fan." Can you believe that? Hank is a Seminole, thank you very much. But it all went downhill during Flip Cup. Hank was losing bad, and the guy starts heckling. He says, "Figures a Gator fan can't flip." The next thing I know, Hank's all over the table and going for the guy's throat. I tried to break it up. I grabbed the keg to end the chaos, and bam, my back went out like a lawn chair in a hurricane. I didn't even make it to the game.
Let me guess, Hank went without you.
Yep, stormed the field after the win.
At Finn Chiropractic, they'll get to the root of your pain and deliver the solutions. Book your appointment online at finchiro.com, and you'll even get an online discount. Visit finchiro.com today and find your path to a pain-free tomorrow.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
USA 16-12. What do you think? You like that?
Anything that gives us the cup.
Okay.
I'm a little worried.
I'm going 16-12.
I've seen that we are, for golf in this event, pretty significant favorites. It started at minus 120, minus 130. It's up closer to minus 200 when I checked this morning. I don't know, man. I'll take anything that puts the cup back on American soil, please.
The away team has not come closer than 5 points since closer than 5 points. Yeah, that's the stat. Yeah, in the post-Medina era.
That is true.
That's crazy.
The American star power is sneaky, and it's hidden in stats. It's not in bravado. It's not in presence, though. So would it stun you if Ben Griffin and J.J. Spawn both went 1-3 this week? No, it wouldn't stun me.
Ben Griffin and Patrick Cantlay are going to be the big winners.
I hope so,
buddy.
Cantlay usually rises up in this event.
He's not afraid. He plays slow, but he's not afraid.
And so does JT. And JT was awful 2 years ago on the PGA Tour, but he was very good, one of the few in Italy that showed up. I really want to go 2 years from now. You want to go with me?
Sure.
It's in Ireland.
Oh, I'm in.
It's in Limerick.
Let's go.
I think we should.
Off to Limerick.
And we will
book it. We'll do it today.
We'll cover Florida State from afar.
Perfect. Let's go to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
I'm in. Maybe US 15-13?
Whatever it takes. No retain. We don't want that nonsense. Just, yeah.
I'm worried that Tommy Fleetwood's going to play exceptionally well.
He typically does.
He does, and now all the weight is off his back.
Yeah.
He has done it. We forgot.
But
Remember
maybe it's singles success, medal success that takes down his match play game. Because these things aren't always. That's why Ian Poulter is such a superstar in this event.
I think Cam Young is going to show up big for us.
I don't know. I'm a little nervous about this group.
Cam's weird.
He is weird.
He got it together at the end of the year, though.
He can't putt. But if he's got a 4-footer and it's for a point or we lose, he's going to miss it. I guarantee you. And that sucks.
But he rediscovered his touch with the putter at the end of the year. That's why he was there. That's why he was playing so well.
If it's this is Bruce Arians 101. If it's a 15-footer, I feel better from greater distances. That's what he said about Matt Gay.
Yes, he did.
Against the Giants
yes,
years
he
ago.
did. Yes.
But seriously, 12-footer to win for Cam Young, bottoms. 4.5-footer, not going to touch the hole.
It won't even touch the. I knew you were going to say that. Won't touch the hole. You know.
It's going to be going off the screen. It's like,
you're like, what has happened? What has Cam Young done?
And Europe survives. And you're like, oh, my God.
No. Anyhow, I thought they moved up the opening ceremonies to today because tomorrow's a rain out. Tomorrow is a rain out, so they had to do it. All I'm going to say about this before we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but every year I get so excited to see the gear. I start by judging who's dressed better, the Europeans or us. I want to know every year, let's see what you got. What's the gear? Because we do some dumb things sometimes with the gear.
No, yes, we do.
We do dumb things with the gear. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, and both teams take turns wearing each other's colors over the years.
It's very strange.
You will see European Ryder Cup gear that is navy and red. And you go, what?
What are you
That
doing?
was France because they were in France. But you had to double take and say, which one's the Americans standing over the ball? They don't go by their blue and yellow colors. They mess with it all the time.
The yellow sweater vest is tight.
Yeah.
It's a good look. Fleetwood had that on.
Honestly, the pullover I had for years that I wore to death, I think that might have been European, but it was red, white, and blue. So I rolled with it. What the Euros did for this event was they, for practice round day and then the 3 days and all the sessions, they are wearing the colors from each of the last few times they've won on American soil. I think that's very well done on their part.
That's smart.
And they got a good captain. Luke Donald was one of the weakest number 1 players in the world in history, but he's a very good Ryder Cup captain.
I don't like the rope hats that we have here. I just want your standard USA white cap. I don't need the silly rope cap. Have you seen the rope cap?
That's been a multi-year thing now.
Stop with the rope caps. The rope caps are silly.
I agree. You will never catch me. And never say never, right? No, you will never catch me in a rope hat.
I like the jackets, the full zip in ceramic white. Ooh, forget about it.
Ceramic white?
I call it ceramic white. I bet they call it ceramic white at Ralph Lauren.
No, they call it $475 is what they call it.
Yeah.
Man, before inflation in 21, that jacket that I bought, the reason I wore it all the time.
Yeah. Got your money's worth.
Well, there wasn't a tag on it. I'm like, all right. So they ran it, and it was like $374. I'm like,
oh, buddy, go to Augusta and check out at the Masters shop. Your boy over here was so elated to be at the Masters. So I'm there a couple of days. It's amazing. It's the experience of a lifetime. And I go, okay, before I leave today, I got to definitely go in and get me some gear. So I grab a pullover, like just a sweater vest, as I'm wont to do. I get 2 hats, and then I think just a polo, just a classic, just your standard Masters polo. And I'm like, oh, this shouldn't be. I'm figuring the sweater vest is $100, maybe 120. I'm thinking the shirt's probably 65, 75, maybe. The hat's $30, something like that. I go to the counter, I lay it down, and I'm smiling, got my gear. And they're like, I'm like, all right. And he's like, that'll be $572. I was like, what the hell? $572.
Right.
And you're already standing there like an a-hole. What are you going to do? There's people behind you. Like, yeah. All right. I guess I'm spending $572 on Masters gear.
Yep.
Holy moly.
You need to be ready for it. Be ready to wear it.
You should just bend over when you get to the counter.
That's right. You should.
That is insane.
I believe that's their slogan.
Bend over.
Bend over.
Yeah, I want my ceramic white with the navy blue and the red zipper.
Bend over.
Jacket. That's what I want.
When I went to the register in 21 at Whistling, and it was a checklist. You had to get stuff for people. You wanted a specific thing.
Yeah.
Director Matthew did. Got stuff for my dad, my sister, and then like 9 things for myself because this is a bucket list event. I get to the register, and the guy was great about it. I set down a heap of stuff. Everything from
he was
stuffed
happy to see
animals
you.
to
Sure,
towels
buddy.
to whatever. And he goes, you want to take a guess? When he was done. Because the register didn't show. He goes, you want to take a guess?
Did you go $578?
No, it was a lot.
Like $1,000.
I was like $1,150. He goes, no.
Oh. You wish, buddy.
It wasn't much more than that, but I was like, oh my God. This is once in a lifetime. And it was okay because it's once in a lifetime. I'm not going to these every couple of years. However, I do want to go to the one in Ireland 2 years from now.
I'm in. Let's go. Have you seen
Talk to Trey. He's got connections. Let's do this.
Have you seen the Ralph Lauren Ryder Cup U.S. team quilted pullover?
No. Quilted?
It's gorgeous.
I love a good pullover.
Dark blue. It's refined navy, if you will.
What was that? The U.S. team?
Yeah, look it up. It's $168. Not bad. That's not
quilted
bad.
Pullover?
Yeah, Ralph Lauren 2025 Ryder Cup U.S. team quilted pullover, refined navy. Look at that sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, not bad.
The problem is I also like the knit sweater, but I would never wear it because it's 100 degrees year-round here.
Yeah, I've got a knit red pullover that I never wore.
Doesn't do you any good.
But I love it. I look at it in the closet once a week. I go, you are spectacular.
I've got 100 sweaters that I think, boy, if we lived somewhere where it got cold, I would be sharp. Look at these sweaters. I'm a sucker for sweatshirts, pullovers, quarter zips.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of cold weather gear. I love that stuff. I love sweaters, jackets, all of it. And my wife just stares at our closet and goes, what are you doing? You have 9 pullovers, 15 sweatshirts, every team you love. You've got band sweaters, I have like a replacement sweater. It's like, what are you doing?
You will be so prepared for that 10-day trip to Ireland.
Oh, buddy.
In 2 years.
I'll be geared up.
You'll be geared up. We'll be doing pregame shows from a pub.
I have a Florida State hockey sweater. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
It's beautiful. But I wear it once every 3 years. We get a day
Usually
where it's like
February.
Yeah, it's like February. We get one of those days where it's like 22. You're like, oh, here I get to break it out. Sometimes I forget how much cool stuff I have in that closet.
The pimp pea coat.
Oh, I got the pimp pea coat. You're the only one who's ever seen me wear it. Alicia saw it.
ESPN people did.
Yeah, they saw it. I'd wear that when it got cold. That pimp pea coat is awesome. Now, why do I have that? That's ridiculous. I wore it in Chicago. That was cool.
Yeah.
I wore it when it was freezing cold in Chicago. But, man, yeah.
You'll wear it to Army Navy when we ever go.
I don't love the official gear this year. It's not terrible. Too many stripes on a lot of these shirts. I'm a less stripy guy.
I will say, initially, I didn't like the hat as much as
the red one.
Years.
I like the red one.
The triangle A versus the other A they had. But you know what? It grew on me. After watching a couple of those Golf Channel specials, I'm like, no, I think they did the right thing there.
I'm not in love with the triangle A. I would have gone differently. But I can live with it. It's not a deal breaker. But I'd wear the red hat. Or the white, just the simple white one with USA on it is really good, without the stupid rope.
You and your rope. Can't say the other word from Boondock Saints.
I don't
take your stupid rope.
Yeah, I don't like the rope.
This good rope right here.
I know, Brett. I wear T-shirts to do radio, but I got all kinds of really nice things that I just never wear. I'm lucky to be able to have a job where I can wear these kinds of shirts, and I have hundreds of shirts.
That drive to St. Pete on Saturday is going to fly by because it's going to be Sirius XM, Ryder Cup coverage, morning session on a Saturday, and I'm going to be grinding over every putt as I drive through Perry, as I drive through Chiefland. It's going to be a fast drive.
The problem is, what is a fast drive? I always make it a fast drive. That's
you do
how
75. You cut through Tampa, I would imagine.
Well,
right?
not anymore. Lately, I've been cutting that out because of Ocala. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Ocala can go to hell. I'm done with Ocala. I'm sure you're fine folks in Ocala. I'm done with you. This is ridiculous. You know, it's the equivalent of whatchamacallit up in Atlanta.
McDonough.
McDonough, yes. It's the equivalent of McDonough.
In fact, Ocala McDonough sounds like the stunt double for Scarlett O'Hara's character in Gone with the Wind.
Oh, we'll just get Ocala McDonough to do it. Oh, he's good. But no, Ocala, like the last 3 times that I've gone home, has featured me saying, MF at the top of my lungs while we come to a grinding halt on the interstate for no effing reason. I listen, it's too late this particular segment, and I'll divert into sports when we come back. But let me just say this. You did I tell you about my situation meeting my mother and my boys halfway?
Yes.
In the Gainesville situation?
Mm-hmm.
All because of Ocala?
That's right. It made the news. That one did.
That was so absurd.
You told me the story, and I looked it up online, and sure enough, there a lot happened on the roads near Ocala.
I felt kind of bad because I think I said there better be 25 dead people strewn across the road when I get up here if we're going to be delayed 5 hours.
Yeah, I think it was in the ballpark. Yeah. What you could have stood to catch a text. That I felt bad for you in that moment because
come
you
on,
could have gotten
man.
the heads up and just
like, hey, yo, don't leave,
Yep.
Dad. Like, hang on, you're good. My kids don't bother to text me to let me know that they're stuck bumper to bumper and that they will not be meeting me halfway from Bradenton to Tallahassee.
You could have just stopped at like the Hardee's in Lake City and had a big time.
I wouldn't have done that. I don't know where you can have a big time at Lake City.
The Hardee's.
No, that sounds about right. I would have left Tallahassee much later is what I would have done. I remember the longest I've ever, this is way back in like 94. I was driving from here to St. Pete, and I got stuck right outside of Lake City because of a terrible traffic accident in the dead of winter. It was like Christmas break, and it was, for whatever reason, it was surprisingly cold because usually we don't get real cold till February, but we got really cold then. And I don't know if it was OK Computer by Radiohead or something. I think that might be it. I had just gotten it, and I ended up listening to it like 6 times, just sitting there. Just sitting there.
Oh, buddy.
I was able to digest the entire record, really get a sense of all of it, the method, all of it. We're just not moving. I'm like, am I going to sleep in my car tonight? We haven't moved. You get unreasonably angry, and I get unreasonably angry in traffic. I really have a hard time.
There's one specific thing that irks me with traffic. It is when there is a pocket that opens up and you go to full speed and then the people slam on the brakes in front of you and you don't get a good indicator. This is why people drive in tall cars other than to overcompensate for their lackings, is they want to be able to see that stuff ahead of time. Now, in my very comfortable, fully loaded sedan, I don't have that ability. And I hate it when people will go from 0 to 70 or 75 or 80. Specifically, this happens on the turnpike all the time. And then you have to slam on your brakes and check your rear view mirror and see if you need to bail out into the shoulder because the person in front of you doesn't have third gear in mind. Even though they see cars in front of them. You couldn't go 52? You had to go 78, and now we're all going to kill ourselves? Come on, man.
I've really learned, by the way, that the key for me is to get the notice. You find out, Waze will tell you. Waze is like, hey, man, we got a problem up there. There's a lot of stuff going on. You want to get off the interstate. I'm like, thank you, Waze. I will. Even if I know that this isn't going to be fun, I'm going to be, in essence, going sideways instead of, south or north. I'm fine with it as long as I'm moving. I'm like, cool. We'll just go the highways and byways. That's cool. We'll take it down through the hills. I'll get to see the horse country. We'll go all around. As long as I'm not at a standstill, I feel like we're inching along here.
I found a few hills in Orlando that way with the turnpike once. Tavares, Florida. It's like, well, look at this. You got some hills and stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's parts of
like views.
Yeah.
Okay, Tavares, I see you.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Ray Liotta principle of always move. Keep moving from Copland.
You got to keep moving. Copland's awesome. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip. Tallahassee Car Care, right next to Swain Pools and Spas.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Tallahassee, it's time to save you money, and I mean real money with our September sell-down sale. I've got 75 remaining 2025s on the lot that are priced to move. No reasonable offer will be refused. Plus, all remaining Rogues, Muranos, and Pathfinders have 0% interest for 60 months, and all Frontiers have 1.9% interest for 60 months. But wait, it gets better. Nissan has been sending out mailings to folks all across North Florida. Just bring your mailer into Kraft Nissan, and we will take an additional $500 off the price of any car on the lot. Plus, we need trade-ins, and I've instructed my managers to pay $2,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your nice trade. So don't make a $10,000 mistake. It's Kraft Nissan's September sell-down sale to make room for the 2026s that are arriving every day. With huge discounts, 0% interest rates, and $2,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade, now is truly the time to buy your new car. Hurry, sale ends Tuesday, September 30th, and only at Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Fellas, finding clothes that really fit shouldn't be a struggle. And at Nick's Big and Tall, it never is. Come check out our brand new selection with fresh styles for every occasion. From casual weekend wear to sharp sport coats, we've got the sizes and fits that make you look and feel your best. Nick's Big and Tall has one of the widest size ranges around, so no more settling for good enough. You'll find exactly what works for you. Stop in today and see what's new at Nick's Big and Tall, where style comes in every size. Nick's Big and Tall, your fit, your style, your store.
This week's Legacy Moment, brought to you by Cornerstone Memorials, shines a light on Miss Althea Jackson. For 2 decades, she ran the Southside Community Garden, teaching children how to plant, harvest, and grow with pride. Her collard greens were legendary, but it was her warm heart that truly nourished the neighborhood. When Miss Althea passed in 2021, neighbors planted rows of sunflowers in her honor. Her legacy still blooming right here in Tallahassee. This has been a Legacy Moment, honoring the lives that shape Tallahassee. Sponsored by Cornerstone Memorials, helping families honor their loved ones with dignity and care. Find out more online at cornerstonememorials.org. Do you know of a Tallahassee legacy that should be shared? Text the word legacy to 850-386-8255 to submit your story for the Cornerstone Memorials Legacy Moment.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
This is hilarious. I do like to peek in on places where things have gone awry, and that way we can, read the articles or the folks that are flipping out on their boards and doing all those things. Schadenfreude. Last year I did it for Alabama when DeBoer was getting crushed by that guy at AL.com who called him a shabby dresser and was embarrassed by the look, let alone what he thought of his coaching prowess. But there's a guy now in Charlotte for the Charlotte Observer. His name is Luke DeCock.
Luke's been around a minute.
So one of my favorites. Anyhow, that's him. Who was the guy all those years ago? I bet TPE will remember. Who are those guys, the golfer from all those years ago that you would get mad when I'd say his name? That guy.
Me? I would.
When you would look at me and be like, dude, there was a golfer whose last name was very similar.
I don't know. It might have been, the playoff committee advisor, Bill Hancock.
Yeah, no, Bill Hancock is one of my favorites too, but this is Luke DeCock.
Do you know what Luke looks like?
No.
Okay.
Do you have me to flash him on the screen?
Yes. So
show me Luke DeCock. It's a man's name, everybody. Oh. All right. So while you're looking at Luke DeCock, and there he is.
I just like the confidence in his look. He's like, yes,
Luke,
I am.
Luke's got some things to say.
That's yes, I am energy right there. I am he.
So here's the latest that I just got to give him credit. Here's your headline, Tom, from Luke DeCock. Bill Belichick is only embarrassing himself. UNC is embarrassing all of us. I like that energy, Luke DeCock. That is good stuff. And this is not the first such column he's written about this. Belichick is in his crosshairs. North Carolina is in his crosshairs. And I'll give you some snippets just because it's fun. In theory, the article begins, a week off means a week the North Carolina football program can go without embarrassing itself, although there are certainly no guarantees. In 2 games against quality opponents under Bill Belichick, the Tar Heels have been humiliated by TCU and UCF, and it's fair to wonder what WTF at this point. Whatever the worst-case scenario was when North Carolina's boosters concocted this stupid plan, it looked an awful lot like this. They threw tens of millions at football merely to get owned on social media by the Big 12. At this point, it's becoming clear that even if Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach ever to walk the earth, he couldn't do much with this roster without Tom Brady, and maybe even with him. The players are trying hard. They showed it against Charlotte and Richmond, but there's only so much they can do. North Carolina GM Mike Lombardi somehow spent 8 figures on a roster full of 70 new players that looks ripe to compete for a conference title in Conference USA. Like Butch Davis and John Blake, Belichick's biggest mistake may have been trusting Lombardi. That's not hyperbole, but by the most accurate of Jeff Sagarin's computer ratings, North Carolina is the 4th best team in the Sun Belt, which is where their big money quarterback excelled last season. Tar Heels, meanwhile, check in at 14th in the ACC, ahead of only Cal, Stanford, and Wake Forest, all of whom, fortunately for North Carolina, appear on the schedule later in the season. He goes on to talk a little bit more about how they would get worked in Conference USA. From the politicians who inserted themselves into the hiring process, to the trustees who ran amok, to the chancellor who acceded to all of it, athletic director who tried to put a happy face on it and then quickly announced his impending departure. There's a broad cast of characters to blame. Belichick is embarrassing only himself, a first ballot tarnishing your legacy Hall of Famer. His choice, at least it pays well, but the power brokers are embarrassing not only themselves but all of us, not just fans or graduates of North Carolina, but all of North Carolina's taxpayers. They're taking the flagship university, quotes attributed to Tom O'Brien of the state, a once proud model of a modern public university, and made it a laughing stock. Start with the hubris of the 33rd NFL team nonsense, which created an entire hot take industry of people rooting for this endeavor to fail. Then take the antics of Belichick and Jordan Hudson, with every moment that goes viral for the wrong reasons. And finally, throw in the football team. People aren't just laughing at all that. They're laughing at the University of North Carolina, an institution apparently dumb enough to get dragged into all of this. After the scandals of the 2010s and the debunking of the myth of the Carolina way, did we really need to further debase an institution of higher learning that should purportedly benefit all the citizens of the state and a feckless pursuit of football glory that always seemed doomed to fail anyways? This guy's not having it.
Yeah, he's not. The retort could be, this is what you get. This is your penance for being an institution of higher learning and completely torpedoing that reputation by cheating and getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is your penance. A high-profile whatever this is, because it's about to be written another chapter as he's taking on Dabo in the Who Wants It? Who Wants It? Who wants to coach here next year bowl?
Belichick has no reason to leave on his own. His grift remains intact. He gets paid either way. Good for him. He spotted the suckers a mile away. But the geniuses who set a giant pile of money on fire to create this mess are going to have to set another giant pile of money on fire to get themselves out of it next. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's funny stuff.
They're hoping for senility, right? Fire with cause? Bill, we have a test we'd like you to take.
I'm planning all kinds of stuff on Luke. Luke DeCock should lead the way. I'd be, hey, Luke, I know I can feel it. I can hear it in your voice from the page. You're very angry about this. We got to plant some coke on Bill. We got to do something because we got to get him out of here. It's something to behold. But Belichick did spot the suckers a mile away. I mean, what a happy way to fall back in your latter years. You know, you desperately still wanted to coach in the NFL. You know, you wanted to go and make a run, one final run in the NFL so that you could pass Don Shula. You didn't get the chance. Now you won't, in all likelihood.
Yeah, Arthur Blank wouldn't hire you, and he really wanted to hire you.
Yeah, and that was the end of that until North Carolina called, and you're like, oh, okay, sure. And I'll bring Lombardi with me. And my son.
And my other son.
And my other son. And my girlfriend. And I'm going to need, $10 million per.
Can we get her some graduate credits, please?
It is, I want to point that out, that this is the fun this year. Last year it was Alabama's writer, AL.com writer, that hated DeBoer. This year we got Luke DeCock, and he is done. He is done with Bill Belichick. He is done with North Carolina. Yes. He's a firm grip on the situation, Tom. He is definitely. And that's not the first time. That's not the first time he's written something of that nature.
No, I believe you cited him recently.
I did. I also wanted to cite the fact that, how I was telling you I like to go back and find, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Massey composite collection of computer ratings. You know how they do this?
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's because, and I'll see we'll know after Friday, and we'll check in on them again next week. But when you go and look at those ratings, now they don't matter. And they don't use the Massey rating, so it doesn't really matter. But I do it because it's a composite of every ranking service. So it's DOI, DOK, DOL, AP, BBT, BCM, BIH, BIL, BWE, JFR. It's all these different rating systems, right? And it's a composite. And when you look at it, they've got Ohio State number 1 and Indiana is number 2. Now, Indiana just got done winning a game against a ranked team by 1,000. And so, obviously, they received quite the boost. They moved up 11 spots in the Massey rankings.
Fernando Mendoza and live Heisman odds is one of the favorites now.
Yeah, so there they are. Ole Miss is shockingly number 3, but that's because they've played 4 games. So they have extra data. A lot of these teams have that are ahead of Florida State have played 4 games. So, okay. But I don't think they count our game against East Texas A&M. So we're really, in some cases, 2 games behind some of the teams that are ahead of us. And I think that's why it is, because, man, they got us nowhere near the top 10. We are well down the list behind such notables. And this kind of bothers you a little bit when you see it. You're behind Vandy, Texas Tech. You're behind BYU. You're behind Notre Dame with 2 losses. You're behind Texas with a loss. You're behind Southern Cal. You're even behind Alabama. Yeah. So
of course,
it's comical. It's comical.
Take your notes. Everybody take your notes and remember when it is that these systems, in this case, computer systems or ranking systems, wake up to the fact that we've got a pretty good football team.
Well, beat Virginia's ass, and it'll happen. Then the Frimrau, the Dr. Entropy, the what is it? D1's ratings, the Congrove, the Billingsley, the BC Moore, the Baker Bradley Terry, the Wheeless, the J Train, the Harville, the Football Power Index, the Fluker, the Dunkel, the Dwiggins, the John Cheeson Furnace. They'll all have to take into account.
Especially the J Train.
I just picture some guy named Jay. He's like, I got my rankings out again on Monday.
Coming up Tuesday on the J Train. My college football rankings.
Yeah, and they're just random as hell. He's like, got NC State number 1, followed closely by Old Dominion. Hey, the J Train looks at football a little bit differently.
Have you seen Old Dominion? I haven't either, but those box scores look pretty impressive. They're number 2.
I've got Toledo, despite their 2 losses. I think it's a quality club. They're going to finish strong. Yeah. So just, I don't worry about the Massey, but just heads up, we're like 20th.
Well, yeah, the Fremrau we're in like 40th, but then if you take away the preseason prognostication in the model, we're 2nd.
But also,
magic.
Well, and also they don't count one of our games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on with these. I don't know if that's what's going on with the Cambor, but it is what's going on, I think, with the Dunkel and the Dwiggins and the Breish.
The Breish, of course.
Yes, the Breish.
I know that a lot of people want to win a national championship, but to me, if we could just find our way to the top of the
Massey,
ESPN FPI.
Oh, the FPI.
I think that's the most important one. That is when you hang a banner. Number 1 in the FPI.
Well, if you're Auburn or Alabama or any number of other teams, they've hung all kinds of banners for championships that they didn't win because some place like the D1 ratings or the Daniel Curry Index,
the Billingsley, the
J Train had us number 1, the Kelly Ford, the Kirkpatrick, the Harville. Etch it in stone. We were number 1 in the Harville in 96.
The Hans. Why are they not number 1?
No.
Fraunhofer.
The BC Moore.
The Filipovich.
I'm actually naming the ones. This is true. These are the
Dirks Bentley,
the D Simone, the Don Chess Interference.
Don Chess Interference.
It's the not just inference, actually.
Inference.
Yeah, it's inference. The Harville. The J Train's a real thing. You can click on it. I just did. It's a Cornhusker site, and it says JHFZ Husk, and it's got the Cornhusker on it when you click on it.
Really?
And J Train gives you his week 4 college football rankings.
And it's cited in this composite.
It is.
All right. Accredited.
The J Train college football computer rankings for week 3. You can go look it up, and week 4. You can see how the J Train had shifted from one week to the next. You could go check out the Kelly Ford or the Cambor.
The Kelly Ford?
The Kelly Ford's a real thing. Yeah, here you go. Click on the Kelly Ford.
Does it take you to a dealership in Middle America? Welcome to Kelly Ford.
K Ford ratings. And then right underneath the K Ford ratings, it says purchase merchandise here. They're selling their merchandise to the K4. The Doncic inference I want to definitely check out. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it just tells you upcoming games. Then it's got tools, predictions, sports books. It's got a lot. Sport computer rankings for the WNBA, Major League Baseball, pro and college football, hockey, miscellaneous like Australian rules football.
Yeah, this one's your favorite now because now you're going to integrate it into your own power rating system for wagers.
I might. You can never have enough of those things.
The inference thinks that this spread is off by 4 points.
We're jumping on it, guys.
I'm going with the inference.
Let's hope tomorrow on Redemption Thursday that we're remaining red effing hot the way we have been. This has been a run to start the year. Tom, I don't know what the inference or the J Train thinks about all this, but I know I'm whooping ass. My assessment of these teams is spot on. I ought to have my own rankings based on the winnings that have been going on over here on Redemption Thursday. And in my pools,
the JC Express. I'll take your J Train and raise you a JC Express.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
One person was shot and another person was taken into custody after.
Look at your screen, everybody. And if you're just listening, you'll see that or hear that I'm about to talk about HelloTushy.com. HelloTushy.com. You think, what in the world? And I thought, what in the world? Now, I understand bidets are used the world around and not necessarily all that much in the United States, but that is changing. And here's the deal. I'm an open-minded guy. I wanted to know, well, what's the benefit? Why would I use it? Why would I have a bidet in my house? Why would I don't know. It felt a little weird. I thought it would be a little weird, but there are benefits, and I did know that. I've heard that before. First of all, you reduce itching and irritation and micro tears. They'll tell you that. This is soothing water instead of toilet paper, scratchy toilet paper, or damaging wipes, And that whole process is kind of, when you think about it, it's nasty. It's nasty. And I found out that using a bidet is far more sanitary and actually very, very easy. And so I said, yeah, let's go. Send it to me. Send it to me. We'll try it in the Cameron household. And I have to tell you that it's not just the copy. It's not just what they tell you. It's true that you feel cleaner. You feel better when you get done using the bathroom when you have a bidet in your house. So look, give it a try. You'll be surprised that you'll like it. It benefits you. And you are saving tons of money. You use 80% less toilet paper. I mean, I would think that the percentage is higher, but that's what they told me. 80% less toilet paper. And it comes with a 30-day hassle-free return. So if you don't like it, if you're uncertain, you go, I don't know. I don't know about a bidet, Jeff. Well, I can tell you that, they sent it to me. It was very easy to set up, took seconds. It works. It's great. But it may not be for you. So if it's not, you can send it back, 30-day hassle-free return. I know people want to know about that. So there you go. You have that option. But I don't think you'll return it. I think you're going to like it. And by the way, I love their call to action. I love this, what I'm about to tell you, because old school Jeff Cameron Show listeners will remember this. Hashtag a-hole. We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order. And you use code WARCHANT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at HelloTushy.com. Go to HelloTushy.com and remember to use the promo code WARCHANT. You're going to be surprised. I think you're going to like your bidet. HelloTushy.com, promo code WARCHANT.
Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I know you were watching very closely, Tom. Pirates take care of business last night, trying to aid your New York Mets.
Yeah, I still don't think we got enough in the tank because the tiebreaker goes the other way. But I will watch. And we came back from 6-1 down last night. It was very tempting to turn the television off, but I didn't. And we rallied to win the ball game. And you guys won your ball game. It's another big win for the Buccos.
Yeah, another big win for the Buccos indeed. I'll get to probables in just a moment. I will point out that it is a great pitching matchup tonight in Cincinnati. We'll see if it lives up to the billing, but we do have the great Paul Skeens. It's a Skeens Day for the final time this year, guys. It is Skeens Day. Going against Hunter Green, who's awfully good, so this ought to be interesting.
I'll be watching my game tonight on mute because ESPN has the call. And we don't get our local broadcasters for the fifth to final game of the season in a pennant chase.
That hurts.
We get Carl Ravitch and blurry television screens.
No!
Yep.
Boo!
Boo is right. We get enough of that next week when we tell these people they can't do their jobs, and it goes national if we make it. I don't need ESPN now.
Mets won, as Tom noted. Reds lost, putting New York back in playoff position. The D-backs stayed alive in the wild card hunt last night.
They scored 2 in the ninth.
Padres remain contenders for the National League West thanks to another Dodgers bullpen failure.
Yeah.
Astros fell out of playoff position given the collapse. Given the collapsing Tigers some hope for a softer wild card landing. They have come all the way down to earth.
Did you see the Scooble play?
I did not see the Scooble play.
Okay, so it's a
meltdown?
It's indicative of everything that's happened to Detroit. So he starts, I think he throws 5 shutout or 6 shutout, and then they scratch across some runs. But one of the plays is a comebacker, and he tries to essentially long snap it to the first baseman, for lack of a better descriptor. And it goes way over the first baseman's head.
How hurt your feelings?
Things have fallen apart. If the Diamondbacks do make the playoffs as the final wild card, they will have earned it. They're playing the Dodgers right now, and then they play the Padres, which that West might not be decided by this weekend. So they would have gone through Murderer's Row to earn their place if they do make it.
The Guardians pulled even with the spiraling Tigers in the AL Central. Thanks to the tiebreaker, they're actually in the lead. So there is that. The Mariners, my de facto American League team as it is, ensured their place in the postseason with a comeback win of their own. Did you see what Cal Raleigh said afterwards?
I did not.
He continues just to be a fan favorite. He said, I can't say what he said, but he dropped an F-bomb over the mic.
F yeah?
Yeah, win the whole effing thing.
Oh, I had a buddy. Yeah. All right, a little major league reference.
Yeah.
Good for you,
Cal. He did a good job. Yeah. Fans were.
He's way better than Jake Taylor, though.
Yes, he is way better than. He's got better knees. Jake was washed up at the end of his career.
He's like Parkman from the second movie.
Yeah, he is. And the Yankees clinched a playoff spot while pulling closer to the Blue Jays in the East following a come-from-behind walk-off win. So there you go. You have all of that. New York scratched across one early run and were held in check for the rest of the game. Colson Montgomery's 2-run shot in the 6th gave Chicago, sorry as they are, a narrow lead. And then in the bottom of the 9th, with 2 men out, they got a couple of guys on, tied things up on a walk and a wild pitch, because that's how the White Sox, that's how they roll in the 9th inning of games.
I didn't realize it was both New York teams versus both Chicago teams right now. That's strange. David Peterson went 1 1/3 last night. His ERA in his last 4 starts is 12.50.
Not good, Tom.
Became bullpen game. Yeah.
As for the Jays' loss, Lucas Giolito and 4 relievers limited the Jays batters to 1 run on 3 hits. Nathaniel Lowe hit 2 RBI singles, and Carlos Narvaez doubled in 2 for the Red Sox over the Blue Jays. So I've touched on all the big to-dos from yesterday. Now we'll do probables. So if you would, let's cue it up and get to those probables.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
They're about to start in San Diego. They're warming up as we speak. Chad Patrick going for the Brewers. Dylan Cease going for the Padres. Rays, Orioles, Shane Baz, Tyler Wells. Rays lost last night to the last place Orioles. Pirates and Reds, aforementioned Paul Skeens. Future Cy Young Award winner.
That's right. You got this, buddy. Let's get it back down under 2.
Let's go, Paul. Cincinnati Reds throwing Hunter Green, though, and we have the worst offense in the major leagues, so there's a chance that my man Skeens loses 1-0. Let's hope not. Tigers, Guardians, Jack Flaherty. Only Flaherty. Guardians will throw Tanner Bibby. Marlins, Phillies, Ryan Weathers, Jesus Lazario, or Lazardo, as he likes to be called, because that's his name. White Sox, Yankees, Frazier Ellard, and Max Fried. Damn, Max Fried is 18-5 with a 2.9. Braves could have used him. Oh, we needed to re-sign Max Fried, y'all. It's a tough decision. Red Sox, Blue Jays, Garrett Crochet. He's good, too. 17-5 with a 2.6. Max Scherzer going for the Blue Jays. Twins, Rangers, we've got Taj Bradley and Jacob deGrom.
I take it to beer.
Jacob deGrom has had a good year. Take it to beer. Mets, Cubs, Jonah Tong and Matthew Boyd. Feel good about Jonah Tong?
Good start, last appearance. There's a lot to ask for a kid. Wrigley Field, pennant race, wild card race.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Royals, Angels.
Was that a yes? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it. Royals, Angels, Stephen Kolek, and UC Kikuchi. Hey, did you see how cool the fan was that caught Mike Trout's 400th home run? He got there, by the way, which we didn't note before, but I wanted him to get there, Devin. He's been too good not to get to 400. He got there. And did you see what the fan did? He wanted to give the ball back to Mike Trout, and they said, what do you want in exchange? You know, normally these guys either want money or something. He goes, I just want to play catch with him. And Trout said, I'd love to, and they played catch.
Well, that's phenomenal.
That is phenomenal. It's touching even. I was like, there you go. There you go, buddy.
I hope he slipped him $20,000 too on the way out.
Mike might. He's allegedly, from what I've read, he's a great guy. But yeah, it's always playing catch with kids before the game too in the stands. Seems like a good guy. Anyhow, yeah, the guy just said, look, I don't want anything from him other than just a few minutes of his time to play catch. I brought my mitt. That's how I caught the ball. I'd love to just say I played catch with Mike Trout. They're like, sure, he'll do it. Great. So they just played catch. Had a good conversation. He gave him the ball. Dodgers D-back, Blake Snell, Ryan Nelson. Rockies, Mariners, Tanner Gordon, Luis Castillo. We've got the Cardinals and the Giants. Sonny Gray, JT Brubaker. Astros in the Athletics, Hunter Brown, Luis Severino. And finally, there's a game already in the books. Nationals, Braves. Who won? I'll find out.
The Nationals did, apparently. So says the chat.
That's the end of the Braves winning streak?
Yeah, that's what they were saying in the chat. What is, did you close the window yet? Severino. What did he do this year?
Luis Severino is 7-11 with a 4.72.
Okay. Not quite the Quintana let him walk out the door situation.
No, he's been like the definition of just below average. Hadn't been terrible. It's not a bad team.
Yes, he is. And not interested with that team, apparently, is the word.
Andrew Alvarez went for the Nats today in their win, and Bryce Elder went for the Braves, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Oh, Tom, according to the DR ratings, the Pirates will lose tonight's game 3-2.
You're wrong, DR. I'm going to check the Billingsley. So I'm going to check. Oh, all right.
Sorry. It's rare that happens. The throat is fried at the end of the 3 hours. We're probably about done.
It is also Wednesday.
You have any idea who's in the WNBA playoffs?
Ooh. The Sparks?
I don't know either.
Oh, okay.
I was just curious if you did.
I have been indifferent about...
Well, forever. Who isn't?
Yeah. But I don't get worked up one way or the other. It's never going to make the radar. Hell, the NBA hardly makes the radar anymore because I'm usually watching the Stanley Cup playoffs instead. So, yeah.
I got a terrible cough coming on. You got to whistle.
Well, I got to tell you that opening soon, Tampa Bay Lightning hockey is not that far away. They just sent down 6 players to the minors as roster cuts begin across the NHL ahead of the season opener in just about 10 days' time.
You did good.
I was ready.
Swiss Irish came through and said the Lynx, the Minnesota Lynx, I think, are one of the best teams, is what he says. I'm trying to think if that's correct, though. He doesn't know. It might be. It might be. Wagers tomorrow, probably numbers in 15 to 20. We're going to go for the gusto.
Okay.
I've already taken a cursory glance at the lines, and I'm pumped. I've already got 3 on the books in my real life, including Florida State.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Laid it. That's a big over, though. By the way, I'm not messing with the over. I'm just laying the points
because of what we were talking about. I think Virginia is going to err on ball control versus trying. If they want to go track meet, that over is going to be done in the early third quarter. But if they go ball control, that could be problematic because it's in the upper 50s, isn't it?
Oh, it's like 59.
Yeah.
Or at least it was earlier this morning, 58.5 or 59 or something like that.
Last week, the total was the safer play. Both were correct.
We got both. We hit both.
Yeah.
I was glad you helped point that back out to me because I had the spread and I was like, why? He's right. Why didn't I just bet the over? What am I doing?
The over was assured very early. The only thing when the lightning delay happened, I said, don't you run that clock. Don't you say the game's done. We need that total. And then we're done. But not a minute before. Don't give me that no bet. This is a 50-unit max wager. This week, the spread, I think, is the safer of the 2 plays. But it's gambling. You never know.
Yeah, when the lightning delay happened, and you already asked me about this, but yeah, there was no chance that I was going to be leaving that stadium. We were in no imminent danger. Nobody was. We were all
only
fine.
From heat stroke.
We were all fine. There was no reason to be doing that. Also, good on you, Swiss Irish. I'm proud of you. He says, Lynx are first in the West. Boom, Cameron.
There you go. Badge of honor.
Who plays for the Lynx? Can you name a player? It's crickets all the way around. Chat here, everybody. Be well. Good work out of you. Have a great day and evening, everybody. We'll be back with you tomorrow on Redemption Thursday.
6 p.m. Wake Up Warchant tonight on the channel.
Sounds good. Peace.